I think potatoes really should be a national dish.
Beautiful. That was a wonderful intro. Thank you, Deetwenty.
Incredible.
Good evening and welcome to Fate's Group Presents Echoes of Divinity. I almost forgot the name to the campaign just then because I am nervous. But thank you. If you're joining us for the first time, we are Fate's Group. We stream every Tuesday and once a month Fridays to play this campaign. We play a lot of D&D and sometimes some games. But tonight we're going to dive into a homebrew world of, unfortunately for everyone else's, my creation. So thank you for joining us. But it's not all just me. It's the people I have with me. And I would love to introduce you to them, starting with Promethean. Who are you? What do you do?
I need no introduction.
You do. It's your chair.
That's it. Hi, I'm Promethean. I was recently banned from TikTok, so I don't know. I'm edgy and cool. Obviously, you'll find me here a whole bunch because I can't get away. Emily is holding me hostage. Please help.
Blink twice if you need help. Okay, good.
I'm also hostage.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Thanks, Promethean. Ito, would you mind going next, please? Tell us who you are. What do you do?
Hello, my name is Ito or Chris. You'll find me between Promethean and D20 on your screen, I think. Wonderful place to be, of course. What do I do? Well, I'm hanging out here playing some D&D with my pals on Fate's Grip. Good to be back for a little bit of fun.
Love that. We are so happy to have you back. It feels like forever, and it actually has been when you look at it retrospectively. Chris II, D20, who are you and what do you do?
After I'm just banning Promethean from other systems now, so that's quite good.
Thanks.
At this point in time, I'm lording over Ben at this point in time, so I'm looking down at him in hilarious Partridge family fashion. Back to you, Emily.
As always, beautiful. Love that. Cool. Awesome. You've thrown me. Hey, Tammy, who are you? What do you do?
My name is Tammy, or otherwise known as Talera79. You can find me. I'm starting to encroach on multiple social platforms now under that name. It feels bizarre. And I also will soon have news on 2 additional projects I can be found in that I can't announce quite yet.
What? What?
Mysterious.
I'm cheating on you guys, sorry.
Tammy, I thought we had something special.
We do.
Okay.
that is the exact.
We do, most of the time.
Insight check. Fabulous. Last but certainly not least, Ben.
Hey, my name is Ben. I play with the Fate's Grip crew. I am playing a character called Soul, and what do? I do things involving D&D and streaming, like everyone else here.
That was beautiful. And while I'm not important, my name is Emily. I'm the Dungeon Master for this evening. And on Tuesdays, you will find me playing Luna Tarot in the Fate's Grip campaign, original campaign. I have been made aware that today is an incredibly special day, actually. So I'm glad I get to spend it all with you because today is our affiliate anniversary.
What?
Yeah, did not know until this very moment. So shout out to one of our wonderful mods, Ash Makes Props, for making me very aware of that. But yeah, happy affiliate anniversary, everyone. New Fate's Group crew, old Fate's Group crew, you know, here we are.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Thanks.
No.
I'm apparently a part of that.
So is everyone now. So this evening we're going to jump into episode 2 of Echoes of Divinity. The good news is that this one I'm going to absolutely be able to save. The bad news is the first one becomes a victim to the lost archives of Echoes of Divinity when Twitch corrupted the file multiple times, and we can no longer see what happened in episode 1. So surprise everybody.
Oh no!
I'd like to thank Twitch exclusively.
Twitch, why?
This is version 2.
Why Twitch?
But you know what? The Lost Tapes is an ongoing joke on the Fate Script channel, so I'm glad you all get to be a part of it. But are we all ready to recap? How are we feeling?
I'd love a recap, given
You didn't take
I'd
me.
love a nice, long, and detailed recap.
Yeah, please. Preferably, and if you can do that exact accent that I used for Velendar in the last session, that would be great as well, please.
The good news is no one has anything to refer back to, so whatever, it's all canon now.
Well, he's fucking Scottish now then, isn't he?
Oh gosh.
He's not.
Would anyone like to recap for me?
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. I remember Mabel was working with Vigmund at the 7 Cats.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was
Let me just, as the bard of the party, just recap how our reality went.
Go, and then I'll tell you the
A
correct.
glorious group recapped and met in the morning of the Stormy Night Inn, where Marcus, dressed in a bedsheet, met the trio standing in the bar, a curious halfling baker, a former soldier with strange bits, and a very angry young lady who seemed to be upset that Velendar had buggered off somewhere after basically taking something and being quite rude. Velendar being our delightful drow elf that wanders the streets. There was some misunderstanding about arse buns, so apparently Ascendus there, but who cares? They were a delightful treat. We tried to have a conversation with Mila, who is the owner of the bar, as both Velendar and Marcus had previously the night before almost been in a Love Island situation where they were trying to get people together and then split them apart for wild entertainment. That quickly went as the former love interest of Melinda walked into a bar, a gentleman called Casey, and then was headbutted by Scarlet. What a delight Scarlet was.
No, it was
after
a straight punch on the headbutt.
Same difference. I mean, I'm as an artist, it was a headbutt.
The bard is talking.
An artist.
Okay, yeah.
It was at that point we decided to go down to Vigmund's Seven Cats Bakery because there was a mysterious event going on, but because this is D&D, shop ownership is very important at this point in time, and ensuring staffing and catering was all covered. Went off to Vigmund's shop where we met his delightful assistant, a dwarf. There was a bathroom issue, which there's a clip of, I believe, in multiple different social media options. The poo one, I believe it is. To which point we were discovered we'd all been invited to a palace. By we, Velendar and Marcus invited themselves to it, but who cares? We decided to dress up for the event. Some of us did remarkably well. Others, well, we'll find out how that goes. On the way there, we bumped into an old friend, a gnome, who we'd helped out previously beforehand. And then we had a special meeting with Reyella Nightlock, handmaiden to the Queen herself. A delightful vision, to which Scarlet seems to have some sort of intrigue and connection with. At no point are Marcus and his elven friend looking to loot something from this particular palace. No subplot there. Curiously, one last thing, however. Velendar, our lovely friend, presented himself as a rather curious individual called Vlandros Viramir, who is a partial stakeholder in a number of enterprises. Much to the rest of the group's surprise that Velendar had suddenly changed his name, or Pharos, as he's now called. We're standing in the presence of the handmaid herself, in the palace. Back to you, Jim.
Yeah, that checks out with my notes. Good work.
Yeah, pretty bang on there, actually, I think.
That was wonderful. I am going to read my recap
Can we just get a
because
clap for that? That was good.
yeah, I did put effort into it, and for that reason, you're all going to have to listen to it. It's actually much smaller. But thank you. The most important part is that our spawns are canon now. But last session, something that you all forgot is that you started in a cold, dark room. Side by side, you were all bound, hands tied tightly behind your back. One by one, Hessian bags were pulled from your head. You couldn't make out much except for a silhouette, mentioning that you had some business to tend to. That's not really where we started, because we started in a tavern. Following the festivities of the Ember Festival, you all met, sharing the events of the night before. Some a little bit too much information, some maybe not enough. From cheerleading contests to stopping people from making terrible love life decisions, secret fight clubs, and a mysterious handmaiden of the Queen, Reyella. You were all introduced, some in better shapes than others, and quickly banded together to stop Mila from forgiving Casey, the chili shop owner, who you had all decided, Mila included, was absolutely unsuitable and a piece of shit. So much so that Scarlet taught him and his nose a lesson that he won't very quickly forget. You decided that you wanted to hear out Reyella Nightlock, and on your way to meet her at the castle, you stopped by the Seven Cats Bakery. Owned by Vigmund, you stocked up on pastries, you met Mabel, and likely destroyed the bathroom there. Velendar. Or technically it was Vigmund's fault. You invested in a change of clothes, some better than others, and you made your way to the palace. The guards were very hesitant to let you through, and they were unsure as to why you would be invited. But when they heard it was Reyella that invited you, it all made a little bit more sense. She, in fact, came out to meet you herself. And that's where we left off, where our mysterious elven friend gave a completely fake name.
Or was it the real
That's
name?
what you think. Who knows? I guess we'll have to find out. Maybe in this episode, maybe in another. Who knows? As you all follow Reyella, this is the closest that most of you, if not all of you, have ever been to a castle before, particularly that of Agora. And as you make your way through, you look up and suddenly it looks taller than what it appears when you're in the Marquetta at the Ember Festival. It is sandstone, but seems to have some sort of an iridescent reflection coming off of it. And you feel like you are looking up almost directly into the sky. It's like a tower that just consistently builds. And as you enter through, Reyella has almost a skip in her step. She is happy to see you, and she sticks by you, Scarlet. And as she gets to the front door, she swings it open and holds it, and she says, "After you all." Are you all entering?
Scarlet will do a slight knee dip of acknowledgement and then keep going forward.
Beautiful. After you all enter through, the first thing you see is, and the most striking is how beautifully lit this room is. And it's due to the fact that the first thing you see is a floor to ceiling, at least on this level, window. And it looks out to this incredible, almost tropical-like garden. You see flowers, some as big as your head, in all different colors, shapes, and sizes. You see fruit trees. You see a little stone path that leads through, almost like it's kind of like a greenhouse, except it's more experience-based. It looks like you could go out there and you wouldn't know where it ends. As you look to your left, you see what looks to be a vast dining room. A big mahogany table sits in the center of this room, and you see these rich velvet curtains that hang. They are closed currently, but she leads you forward towards a spiral staircase. Are you doing
As we
anything?
go through that garden, will Velendar recognize any plants there that could be of use to him for his particular skill set as they walk through?
Good question. Can you make I'll get you to make just a perception check, if that's okay.
What if it's not?
Then go for perception. I will point out that you don't actually walk through it, you more walk past it.
Okay.
Which is why we'll go with perception.
Sure. With proficiency via that skill, it's going to be 15.
Yeah, okay. 15. You don't see necessarily something that you could use, but you do see a big round like fruit that is a deep purple color. Yeah. Oh, yep. Hydrate. Good. Thank you. I'm sorry, Prem. I'm not Michele, so I'm here only to disappoint. It's unfamiliar to you. It almost looks like the outside of a Ribena carton. Those big plush blueberry, blackberry looking fruits. It looks juicy. You don't know what it is or what it could be used for, but you do know that it looks intriguing and you haven't seen anything like that before. Is anyone else doing anything as you're walking through?
Who's in the chamber? Are there other people around? Other guests?
Not that you can see currently, no. It is very quiet in this room. Or in this castle in general. As you all continue your way through, you are led to this spiral staircase. And as you look up, you can see that, like the tower itself, it feels like it goes on and on. And the stairs are made of, again, this deep mahogany wood that has this really rich red color to it as well. And she will lead the way up one flight of stairs. And as she does, she looks at you, Scarlet, and she says, I'm going to be honest, I wasn't sure if you guys would come.
Well, we wouldn't refuse such an invitation.
I don't know, your friend, Sol, was it? Seemed a little hesitant at my invitation, or just my hospitality in general. I thought he might have talked you out of it.
No. A little bit more the opposite.
Interesting. I didn't see that coming. And it seems you've picked up some strays along the way. How do you know these people? Can they be trusted?
Yet to be determined.
I'll make a note. And as you reach the top of the first level of stairs, she leads you down a corridor, and as you walk down, you see these portraits. And they are all painted, oil paintings. And you see side by side the king and the queen, who most of you will recognize being the only royalty currently serving in most of Damada. You see portraits of Queen Reyna and King Ashir together side by side. You then see one of King Ashir, one of Queen Reyna, and you see off to your right the first bedroom. You see a bathroom. On your left, you pass by what looks to be a study, and then the third room on your right you enter is a lounge. And as you walk through the lounge and into the lounge, you see essentially, again, it's quite dark. It's very quiet in this entire castle. You do see a guard stationed towards the very end of the hallway. It does look to be 5 or so rooms along, so it is off into the distance. He doesn't seem to pay much attention to you from what you could see. As you enter, you are led to a L-shaped leather-bound couch. There is a bookshelf on the far wall, and there is a writing desk, a big fireplace that is burning what looks to be like a blue fire. And Reyella heads over to a bar cart, a brass bar cart. and she begins to pour herself an amber liquid drink, and she looks at you all and she says, anyone else? Just me?
I'll partake.
I serve whiskey.
Yes, please. Why not?
I serve whiskey or I serve wine. I don't serve anything in between. What's your poison?
Can I?
Absolutely, but also just you.
And you are?
Farius. I introduced myself previously.
I believe you introduced yourself to the guard, but I apologize if I wasn't paying attention. Those guards you see can be, well, fucking assholes, if I'm being quite honest. But I'm glad you're all here. Anyone else for a drink? And she begins pouring out drinks for you all.
Yes,
Right.
please. I don't mind if I do.
And as she pours, she hands them out to you. Before pouring her own, she pours herself what looks to be a whiskey.
And
Mhm.
sorry, as she's pouring,
Absolutely.
can I just have a closer look just at her? Is she wearing any trinkets or anything like that?
Can you make a perception check for me, please?
And look,
Thank
while
you.
we're doing perception checks,
Yeah, if anyone else wants to
Velendar
roll that.
will have a squiz over this bookshelf while he sits away at his drink as well. For
Yeah.
one
Can
book
I-
in particular.
Yeah, sweet.
When we saw the portrait of the king and queen, that's common knowledge, yeah.
Yes,
And what was the queen's name? Sorry,
Reyna.
Reyna. Okay.
I got 13.
13. She is not wearing anything that looks symbolic in nature. She is wearing a gold necklace that hangs on her neck. It doesn't look too individual. It more looks like extravagant. It is this beautiful gold color, and it does come down in what looks to be it's just a small triangle with the base of the or the top of the triangle, the point pointing towards her cleavage, essentially. But aside from that, the only other thing you would notice actually with a 13 is that she is all of her hands are covered in different rings, bracelets, but not so much trinkets, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. And just, we met Reyella for the first time, though, did we not, in the fight club? Was that correct?
You did. Yourself, Soul, and Scarlet, yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Could I get you, Promethean, to roll, instead of a perception, I'll get you to roll an investigation, if that's okay.
Sure. That is a Malia 20.
A Malia
As it is.
20.
As it is sometimes known.
Yeah, as it is known on the Sword of the Skulls. Yeah, okay. You, again, this bookshelf is again, floor to ceiling, and this is higher than the average ceiling. And as you're looking across, you see a lot of different books. Everything from some super nasty fiction, all the way up to what look to be journals. They aren't marked as, this is the journal of so and so, but you can see that they are dated and that it does say property of. You see at least 15 of those. You do see that a lot of them belong to Reyella herself, but you don't see I would say there would be about 3 or 4 of them that are in a dark green leather, one in a dark green, one in a dark navy, and one in a dark, almost black red color. They are unmarked, but they do have years on them. Judging on the years, these look like they were before Reyella was potentially born. You don't know how old she is, but you would hazard a guess that this is older than her, particularly based on the wear on the spine. Other books you find, aside from some super nasty shit, is a cookbook. It does say The Delights of Agora, a culinary history. Yeah, that's kind of what you're finding with that Malia 20.
Thank you.
You're
What do you mean,
welcome.
super nasty shit?
You're not looking, so you wouldn't know.
But Tammy wants to know, are we talking smut?
Oh, hell yeah. We're talking like medieval porn is what we're talking about.
It's the best.
The best porn.
Oh, shit. Not another clip. Sweet. I feel like, Ben, were you making some sort of a check?
No. I was probably drinking a whiskey at the time. Correct me. Did I take on some luggage from Marcus? I picked up some bags for you.
You do have saddlebags.
Saddlebags. Okay, cool.
They are heavy, by the way.
I'd imagine they would be.
Quite heavy. And, you know, you're not quite sure, based on the amount of clothing this guy is wearing, you're not quite sure what he would be carrying around.
Marcus, is there a closet or something that I can keep this in? Or maybe this is a better question for Reyella. Do you have a courtier or somewhere I can place this stuff that would be safe?
I mean, I do, but downstairs, I can call one of the guards to take it if you would prefer.
Well, the question is not so for much myself, but Marcus?
It's dear boy. It's part of the outfit. It has a
It's your
certain
ensemble?
a certain thing to it. Je ne sais quoi, as we say in other parts of the world.
And what part would that be, Marcus?
Look, in many different places around this glorious piece, but in Kivala, I tend to see that they're very open-minded and they like the finer things in life, and they have an awful lot of sayings that seem remarkably Kivalian.
Interesting. And how do you all know each other? Forgive me, I just, I originally met Scarlet and her two friends. I didn't know she had more.
Well, she's a popular woman.
Granted, I've heard of her reputation before, but thank you for the reminder.
But the festival's brought us together, to be honest.
You enjoyed the festival?
That was grand. Grand theatricals and pleasant interactions with the local populace of this
Are you
fine
lying?
citadel.
Are you lying right now?
No, I'm trying to sound smarter than I actually am.
Okay, fabulous.
But it's been quite an enjoyment. Again, I come from a country where these things they're not held at all. So it's been a nice time.
And where is it that you do come from, Sol?
From the far west.
Interesting. And how did you come to be here?
Well, I'm traveling up here to learn medicinal practices. Try and keep things cheaper for the locals, as in magic is not always possible, if not illegal.
Magic is certainly not possible here. And I would ask that you don't speak too much of it to unwelcome ears, at least in Agora. You are safe with me,
know
however.
of the place that I come from, but it's in the lower set of Jumba.
I'm sorry, where?
Is that right, Jumba?
I feel like you're thinking of the wrong world, but thank you.
Yay!
Incredible.
No, right, well, just very far away.
Okay, great. We'll just, moving on from you, Sol. Apparently, the whiskey is getting to your head. Scarlet, your other friends? How did you come? How did you all meet? In fact, I'm quite curious.
Well, I met Vigmund and Sol. We were staying at the same place and went to various competitions, and Vigmund showed us how to get to various contests, and that led us in to find entry into other contests. So effectively, we bonded over entertainment. These other two, I woke up and they were there.
For my part, of course, I was entertained.
When you say you woke up and they were there, you mean
They
you
were
all...
staying at the same place.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. That was an interesting thing to picture. And yourself, Vigmund, you are from Agora or from elsewhere?
Why, hello, my dear. Yes, I am not from Agora, no. My family has ascended and created their own kind of, how would you say, lineage from the land of Ascendus.
Interesting. How long have you been here for? Because you are local, are you not?
I am now, yes, I am. I took up an apprenticeship at a bakery not far from here. You may have heard of it. I'm surely you have, the Seven Cats Bakery.
I can't say that I have. Most of my food is prepared here at the castle. I don't usually eat out too much. And Faris, was it?
Farius.
Farius. Sorry, your name is quite hard to pronounce.
Of course. Look, I also may have said it at least 3 different ways several times.
Well, we all get confused sometimes. Where are you from?
Oh, far north, my dear. The
North, you
distant
say?
north. Indeed.
And how long have you been here for?
I'm here only for the festival, as it happens, looking for opportunities for new enterprises to take home with me in one fashion or another.
And would you say that you're all looking for opportunities?
Oh, I'm never not looking for opportunities, my dear.
And have you all heard of Scarlet's reputation?
I mean, I've only...
Well, two have seen it, but I don't think they've heard of it.
I would argue that they weren't exactly paying attention. Busy, definitely busy grilling me, and that's for sure.
Well, I mean, we did meet you in a fighting pit. It seems like a odd place to meet a lady of the Queen.
Why?
Are these activities here not just a little bit illegal or frowned upon?
But it's also a good place to find people of particular skills that can serve purposes.
I mean, actually, you're quite right there, Scarlet.
Have you always been so suspicious?
I guess yes.
I must admit, I haven't exactly been for a job interview before, but you did make it feel that way, that's for sure. The pressure that you intended on putting on me wasn't exactly pleasant.
And you must be a fair maiden of the Queen then to take on such a considerate unknown person.
I am not her favorite, but I do well here, is all I will say.
Why weren't you the favorite? No, that might be a deeper question, but is that why you're seeking this out?
I'm sorry?
Is that why you're seeking this out?
I'm not seeking you out, that's for sure. I was, in fact, seeking out someone that was strong enough to, beat the reigning champion of the Fight Club, and which I did find. Thank you so much. She really needed to be knocked down a peg, and I thank you for that, Scarlet. It was incredibly impressive. The last thing I will ask is, Scarlet, tell me more about your travels. I haven't heard too much from you, aside from the fact that you are, in fact, an incredible fighter.
Well, I do believe that given you know some of my reputation, you would know where I've been for the past 6 months as well, and who I've travelled with.
Knowing and understanding are two different things, and I do want to hear it from yourself because I am a big fan of a story.
Well, I didn't agree with the premise of having to sit still and look pretty, so I left and found a group of like-minded people, and we travelled far and wide and all over this great fair land using our skills for entertainment.
And yet here you are, sitting still and looking pretty.
But by choice, not by force.
And I admire that incredibly. Much like I admire your talents. Forgive me, I don't travel too much. You mentioned your family. You still have contact with them?
I do, and I have a few more months before I have to answer the deadline of whether to return home or stay on my travels.
And where is your heart telling you should go?
There's still a piece of me out there I have to find. I haven't found it yet.
What is it exactly that you're looking for?
I don't know. It's lost, and I won't know until I find it.
Interesting. I do like a mystery. And the rest of you, your families?
In my experience, lost things are never to be found from whence we've come. And Scarlet, dear, I'd strongly advise. If you have misgivings about returning home, don't bother. Be free in the world. Be your own person.
Interesting. So you're not a fan of looking back?
Well, it depends on the circumstances, but rarely so.
And what
But
has
one could
burned you?
always look back to be the change.
Ladies, please, one at a time. In polite company, anyway.
And what has burned you so bad that you don't like the idea of returning home?
Oh, the dangers of being in the sort of businesses I'm in, really. You're bound to make poor deals, to ruffle the feathers of rogue traders. Sometimes it's just easier to move ahead.
In that notion, and everything getting a bit, as I feel, a bit emotional, I'm going to pour myself my own drink and gesture to Velendar. Gesture, not say his name out loud.
Good call.
Yeah. See whether or not he wants another drink.
As he's doing that, I'll ask a question. So, my dear, you're very curious about us. Tell us a little bit more about yourself. You said you're not the favorite of the Queen. Where do you hail from?
Make a straight charisma check for me, please.
Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay, it's a 16.
Okay.
Oh. Charisma.
Oh, that's without your modifier. Fabulous.
Yeah, that's without my modifier. Look, let's go with 16 until I can work out where my modifier is. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah. Plus 4. 20.
Oh, great.
Boom.
I saw it flash up on the widget. So I'm like, yes, sweet.
No, I'm not the favorite. You're right. And I have said so, and I'm very glad that you're making me unhash old tales. I thought it was quite obvious, and I thought it was quite common knowledge, but I am in fact the Queen's sister, the one who did not get the throne, and yet here we are. But you know,
The older, younger sister?
Older, not by much though, and you wouldn't be able to tell. In fact, she looks much older than me.
Indeed. You're probably wiser too.
Out of interest, is there a line of succession that we would understand? Like, is it just the eldest is always queen, or so is it unusual that she's not, if she is the eldest?
Make a history check for me, please.
I'm going to do that as well, but more along the lines of, are there any kind of stories of foul play amongst the royals and that kind of thing?
While they're doing their roles, what color are her eyes?
That is a great question, and I
Really?
hate you for asking. Because it means I have to remind myself. Let me triple
The
check.
Emperor's cannon.
They are like icy blue, incredibly blue.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
She's a White Walker.
What were your history checks, please?
14.
Okay.
Sorry, no. 13 plus a 4 is 17.
Okay, great. Sick. And yourself,
Dirty
Prometheus?
20.
So, okay, great. You would both know that in, it's interesting because the rest of the world isn't governed by royalty, and you know that it is quite common knowledge that you would know that. In terms of the way the throne works in Agora, unlike what you would read about in mostly fantasy novels, etc., it's not the men that take the throne in Agora, it is the women. And it is an age-based thing. It would be the eldest daughter following the part where the former queen could not rule any longer, whether it be due to age or illness or death, accident, that sort of thing. You would both know that could be challenged by a council or with enough ruckus, the general public. That's what you would know, Sol. You, however, would know, Promethean, that there hasn't been foul play in a long time in the throne line. The last time that this happened was when it was a king that ruled, and it was the male bloodline that ruled. And there was an uproar in Agora as to why should the sons always rule. And overall, the general populace voted that it was time for the female bloodlines of families to rule. The king at the time, you wouldn't know their name, but the king at the time was removed from the throne. And this decision wasn't made purely based on gender. It was made based on the choices that this king had made. You know that throughout this time, Agora specifically, as the powerful place in Damata, was facing a lot of financial burden, and a lot of choices that were made by the king were not acceptable to the general populace, like rumblings of war about putting up borders that would bar the other regions of Damata from freely entering and crossing into each other. There was also talk of the worship of gods being banned in Agora specifically. And that included the four original deities of Damata itself. And for that reason, while it wasn't a gender thing, everyone just hated this guy. They thought he was a prick, and they thought it was time for change. And that's the last time that there was any ruckus around the throne. But there has since been one other queen, and then Queen Reyna herself.
Yeah. Sweet. Who run the world?
I didn't roll for Scarlet because, and let me know if this is not a fair assumption for Scarlet to have made. For her, Reyella wouldn't have taken the throne because she's got magic. So it would have been scandalous.
Oh,
Interesting. You
Because
can
she's
make
going to use magic.
that would be a fair
Scandals.
assumption. Whether it's fact or not, you wouldn't know, but it would be a fair assumption.
You're within Scarlet's knowledge base to make that assumption.
Yeah, no, that's a fair assumption for Scarlet to make. What are the rest of you doing?
I think I had a drink in my hand. I think the other two were getting a drink. Is that right? I just had a question for her, an observation. Well, my dear, you have beautiful blue eyes, I must say. Almost like that flame over there. And I look towards there's a fireplace, right, with blue flame, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You don't often see blue flame like that.
And
How can I get that in my fireplace?
well, easily enough. If you're alluding to the fact that it is magical, you would be absolutely incorrect. It is in fact a combination of different seedlings, pods, flowers. You can crush them up into a fine paste, and that will, in fact, change the color of the flame.
Oh, I see. And do you like the color of the flame, or could you change that color yourself?
I mean, I could with the right ingredients, but blue is a personal favorite of mine. Do you have a
Indeed,
vendetta
good
against the
choice.
color?
No. I'm just an admirer. It's such a nice shade of blue. I'm a baker, of course, you know, and icing and presentation is a specialty. And you, my dear, are executing well.
Do you think the flame's going to add to the flavor? Flame's a flame, right?
Perhaps. Yes, I'm very curious about all things that could enhance flavor. You know this.
Yeah, this is true.
A flame isn't just a flame, though. A flame at different temperatures or intensities is a fire, or it is a fire, or it's a candle. One can be snuffed out quite easily. The other needs the strength of multiple people to put it out. So is a flame ever really a flame?
Well said, indeed, and much to ponder there as well. Interesting, very, very interesting. And as I say that, I kind of twaddle off a little bit and just start observing the room a little bit more.
Okay. Are you looking for anything in particular?
I'm looking at trinkets and ornaments.
Okay, you could make an investigation check.
Yep.
Marcus, what are you doing?
Marcus has been watching this train wreck of a conversation for a bit and just been politely kind of making notes about various things. Watches whatever the discourse is and is swilling the drink around his hands. He puts it down carefully on a coaster, looks at Scarlet, gives her the eyebrow. Seeing that look on her face, steps over. Your Highness, you engaged us to obviously do something, and there's been a lot of banter here, and a lot of you trying to get to know us and us to look around this fabulous apartment that you have. Can I put it to you? We're people of action. We've got another entrepreneur, Scarlet herself. What do you want us to do, Your Highness?
You can just call me Reyella. I don't go by that formal title, particularly because I am not in fact royalty, but I appreciate the gesture. People of action is great. People I can trust is a different thing. And I'm worried that I can't exactly trust all of you. However, the merit of some of you may be enough at this point. However, if I ask you to achieve a certain task, I expect it to be done. Do you have anything else that you're currently working on that would impede this?
At this point in time, we're open to adventures and helping you trust us. Help us to help you to help us. To help you.
I guess I guess I can do that. Here's the thing. We've already touched on magic. And the fact that we can't use it here, and we should not. It is part of the reason there is so much mistrust in Damada as a whole. If you go way back to when Damada was reborn, it's no secret that a lot of people think magic is the reason that it died to begin with. Now, something suspicious. Exports, as such, coming out of Malukia, seemingly out of nowhere. Have you heard of the thornberry?
We have. We've encountered it at the Wondrous Ember Fest earlier on.
Make a deception check for me.
I'm great at deception. Or maybe not. Oh, there we go. That'd be a massive 14 to me.
Okay. She looks you up and down for a moment. And then she says, interesting. I didn't think it was quite as well known in Agora. You saw it here?
At the Ember Fair, there was a lot of interesting conversations. And if you have an open ear and an open heart, people tell you all sorts of things.
Okay, it's travelled further than what I thought. The thornberry wasn't prominent. In fact, it didn't exist as far as any of us can at least track. It is a dark red color in appearance. It is shaped almost like a shard, gem-like. In large doses, it's said to be hallucinogenic, but it's being exported out of the borders of Malukia and also being used in its wines. I'm only suspicious, and so be the Queen, that it popped up out of nowhere and is gaining traction incredibly quickly, expanding further than what you would expect, I guess, the standard crop to pop up, particularly out of nowhere. It's suggested magic could in fact be involved with this, and if I'm being frank, I'm not keen on it expanding into Agora. As far as I'm concerned, it can stay outside of our borders.
Is this something that you're considering as a drug that's being siphoned out to the rest of the towns and cities?
I don't know what it is, and if I did, I probably wouldn't need your help. But I do know it does have hallucinogenic properties. There are people that ingest too much of it, or, a large amount of it, and they say it induces very incredibly vivid dreams. Some say prophetic in sense. Which, frankly, again, I'm not quite interested in, but I would like to know more about it, and I would like to study it, and I would like to stop it from spreading.
Have you got a sample of this drug here?
No, I do not. We did have, but it has gone missing. Mostly.
So there was a number of kind of requests there thrown into one. You want us to find it, investigate it, and stop it. At one point, would you like us to build this trust in the first place? Us to investigate and find who the supplier of such nefarious liquids are in this thing, or find them and stop them in the only way that Scarlet knows? Scarlet.
I know more than one way.
So you didn't, dear, but in your dramatic and rather exciting way.
Okay.
See? Anyway, moving swiftly on. So is that the kind of gist of what we're going to? Because, time is money.
Time is money, and I have money to spend. My request would start at finding the farm and its supplier, and seemingly where it came from.
Supplier, where he came from. Marvelous. Okay. Can we get a royal warrant type thing? I've always loved those.
Ooh, and some handcuffs. That would be cool.
License to kill. Sorry.
Wait, you're a baker. You want to kill?
Yeah. Okay. Ignore the baker. Ignore the baker.
I'm sure he has some fantasies he'd like to live out.
Yeah. Anyway, but can we get it? Can we get a something? Is this official or is this off the books? Is this one of those?
It is officially off the books, is what
Marvelous.
I will say. For that reason, you will not be traveling by boat because I cannot A, have you connected back to our fleet, or B, risk you getting capsized. And for that reason, I would like you to travel directly through the mountains that border Kaivala and directly across into Maluhia. It's going to take a little bit longer, but I think you can handle it. Obviously, I will offer a reward, but it should not be tied to the crown, nor myself.
Marvelous. We understand subterfuge remarkably well. Just a few expenses to kind of cover off what we need. Can you provide transport, some money up front, some people to talk to at the far end would be marvelous.
Roll a persuasion check for me.
And on the note of people to talk to, I notice I can only assume that it's your own graceful hands that are responsible for the beautiful garden that we walked past on the way in. Certainly, I'm sure you're familiar with the sources of some of the incredible features of that garden, one of which is the incredible-looking fruit that I, in all my travels, have never seen before. I wonder if there might be someone at our destination that you yourself might be familiar with that could have links into the agricultural world of the area.
You do know you're currently travelling with a baker who uses fruits.
It's berries, flowers, they're kind of everywhere. This sounds like a fairly exotic item that we're looking for.
Is Vigmund next to me?
That is up
Sure.
to you.
For the sake of whatever, sure.
I'm going to lean down and whisper to him. He's calling you basic.
Yes, well, we'll see about who's basic.
I'm gonna make it shit his pants again.
Are you guys trying to keep that quiet from your companions?
Yeah, I leant down and whispered to him.
23
actually,
while that's going on.
am I able to resolve that investigation check?
Yes. Okay, just a couple of different things. Soul, roll a sleight of hand. If you wish, Pro, you can roll a perception. I'll come to the investigation in a second. What did you roll? Sorry, Marcus?
23 for persuasion.
Yeah, okay, great. She, for the first time, goes from more surveying the room and paying closer attention to both Scarlet and Velendar to now paying full attention to you as you speak. And she says, I won't offer money up front because if you seem, forgive me, I don't mean to be rude, but if you are seen carrying excessive amounts of gold, it's another thing that could tie you to the crown. But what I can offer is a cart, a horse. If you wish, maybe a guide. If you wish to go it alone, I can offer you a map as an alternative.
My lady, the generous offer of some supplies and some outfitting for some of my companions would be of great use. Followed by the map would be always as good as, just in case the adventures go off, but a guide would be most problematic, I think, because it would link them back to you. So let's not do that. A cart, a horse, and some transport would be marvelous.
That I can have arranged. I will have one of the guards take you across to the stables following our conversation. And Vigmund, remind me what you were looking for specifically in the room. Trinkets.
I'm just looking for trinkets, objects, that type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you would see this lounge room that you're in, or it kind of looks like it's such an intimate little lounge room. It's kind of out of place in the castle in comparison. Everything else you have seen has been quite grand. The closest thing you would see to trinkets is honestly little bits of jewelry here and there. You would see,
Right.
yeah, like a little hairbrush. If you were paying super close attention on the desk, you would see a pair of glasses as well, like little rounded spectacles. But aside from that, nothing again that would look like a symbol or anything magical in nature, etc.
All good. Thank you.
Yeah. And well, sorry, one last thing, just to outfit us as a gracious host. I search for a number of artifacts in this, and I love to read. Would you have any books of interest? I see you have a wonderful collection yourself, but would there be any other books that we could peruse, perhaps, for knowledge and understanding?
I mean, you are more than welcome to borrow one of. This is my personal collection. You're more than welcome to borrow a book, or I guess keep. My journals are in fact over there, and I would prefer that you did not touch or take them. But I could give you something. Is there something you were particularly looking for?
Well, Jewish ministers, as a collector myself of such wonderful looking books, and Marcus is keeping a very close eye on her. Do you have any mahogany bound books by any chance?
Mahogany. I mean,
Mahogany.
it is quite a common color. There are
It is with a beautiful silver inlay.
Silver inlay. What are you looking for?
Sorry, Dim, did you any sense that there was a tweak of the recognition when I mentioned the silver inlay on the mahogany book?
Make an insight check for me.
Hard same on that insight check.
Yeah, go for it. While you're doing that, what was your sleight of hand, please, Ben?
17. It was 17. I don't have any sleight of hand. So
Did you roll
dice roll 17.
perception against that pro?
No, just insight, but I can do perception if you like. Or are we
Just
talking about
against
perception?
Ben. Just against Ben.
Oh, right.
Do it against
8.
me.
Yeah,
8.
you heard nothing. You heard Soul look over, looked like he said something, but it's weird because his mouth just doesn't move at all.
Weird.
Quite strange. What did you both roll for your insight?
16.
14.
D, I'm gonna send you something really quickly.
It's almost like wispies.
Yeah, kind of, except you can't whisper on a stream. This feels so
Quick chat. Work out what Emily's sending me. Is it death threats or she's just banning me from the stream?
It's a
I did do that already today.
close up picture of your character's belly button.
His eyes are up here. Again.
Yeah, not once you look there. They're not. Well, they might be, but it doesn't matter. You can not unsee it.
Yeah, that's where his eyes are, not ours.
Belly button gate. It's glorious. Like, to be honest.
She looks. You see almost like a tweak of just being taken aback in general. You're not quite sure what the feeling behind it is necessarily.
It's something, or it was something that was lost to a dear friend of mine, and someone as yourself, with such a collector of books, would have seen something like that. The silver inlay in it was beautiful, and I was just hoping to be able to recover it for a friend because it's a sad loss.
Where was it last seen? You seem to care a lot about this.
For me, it would have been here probably in the last few months, I would have thought, because it's been passed from hand to hand. It was mentioned at the Edinburgh Fair. One of the reasons why I was down was to find out about such lost items, and this was one of them. And they mentioned it might be here. And again, you with this, and Marcus trying to gestures away from the kind of the porn. More to the journals at this point in time. With such wonderful collection of books, I was hoping that you may have seen it, or see who else has books in the castle other than yourself.
I mean, we have a library, but like I mentioned, this is my personal collection.
Well, if there's an opportunity, again, with your permission, if there's an opportunity to peruse it, again, it was probably misplaced here.
In the castle specifically.
That's what, again, the people of the market were telling stories, and they suggested it might be here.
Interesting. There's not a circumstance where I could see someone misplacing a book within the castle. But I will keep an eye out, and I will let you know. In terms of perusing the library, let's say on your return. How does that sound?
A remarkably generous offer, and we're happy to depart. My colleagues, and again, Marcus is just trying to flap his arms a bit as whatever the shenanigans is going on are doing at this point in time. Mainly gesturing at Scarlet, who seems to be quite sensible.
I'm going to gesture at the chat and say thank you to the Lawrite for the raid. Welcome. You're joining us during episode 2 of Echoes of Divinity, a brand new Dungeons & Dragons campaign that I am subjecting these poor people into playing as a first-time DM. Thank you. It is our affiliate anniversary, and we've got some new family joining the crew. It's a lot of fun. You will find a bunch of cool creators in here. You'll find the Fate Script crew, you'll find Deetwenty, you'll find Promethean from OzQuest, and you'll also find Tammy, who is a chat goblin everywhere and has some cool projects coming up. So thank you so much for joining us. Please don't judge me too hard.
Won't find the book I'm looking for, apparently. God, fine.
Correct, you won't.
Damn it.
Not right now.
But Velendar appreciates Marcus's efforts.
Scarlet and Soul, what are you two doing?
Scarlet's probably just taking in why Marcus is suddenly interested in a book, and a particular book, and whether or not that was an ulterior motive for joining him, like inviting himself along to this escapade.
Okay. If you like, you are more than welcome to roll an insight check against whether you're trying to hide your intentions. You
No,
may
she's
roll it. Yeah, beautiful. Marcus,
She'll
you
just
can
be
roll a
staring.
deception check if you're lying, or a straight charisma check if you're not, but you're not necessarily trying to divulge information.
And you can roll an insight check against Velendar as well, if you like, Scarlet.
Against Mr. Nefarious. She's noticed that second name there. Okay. That one is a little bit more. Okay, so insight against our two named drow friend is 17.
Whoa. Also 17.
In this circumstance, meats generally beats in Scarlet's favor. However, because it is an equal reading, it will be more like a surface emotion. So at this point, if you want to describe what you look like, Farius.
Farius, thank you.
Farius, same thing.
And I guess you'd be paying a bit more attention to Marcus as well. And in doing so, Scarlet will probably notice then that Velendar is also paying a ridiculous amount of attention to this conversation. Just for similarly seemingly no reason, it seems important to him.
The content of the conversation or Marcus's behaviour?
The content of the conversation, so the back and forth.
And Marcus, what did you roll?
Or given what Tammy just said, so Marcus's interest is literally someone goes, "Oh, shiny!" Almost if it's an afterthought. When his eye was kind of casting across there, he's got a fairly good passive perception, and he kind of noticed it: A, the journals, B, the very expensive books, C, the porn, and D, some other books too. He's like, and it's kind of impolite to kind of look a lady's bookshelf up and down, so he thought he'd ask her.
Smart. It's a little bit different, but sure.
You suggested otherwise, and I was just taking what the DM said. I'm happy to revise my comment for some rather racy material then.
Medieval erotica is the proper term.
Oh, I
Sure.
like that. That feels good.
Fantasy erotica, which takes it in whole other directions.
It's true. It's true.
Moving swiftly back to the Dungeons and the Dragons and the yes. So we just need a few items that would be marvelous. A horse and cart. Can everybody ride? Look in the party. Saul, you look like someone that knows how to maneuver vehicles.
I mean, I can take the reins. That's fine. Are we getting a horse per person, or
A horse and cart, I believe.
Yes.
So we look more, entrepreneurial.
I mean, I rode horse from Jiran to here, so I'm sure I could navigate the rest of you. Is anyone else trained in mounting?
I'll give it a go.
I feel that was like a hole that you dug there, right there.
Fantasy
setting up the
erotica
next
mounting.
topic.
It's beautiful.
So we don't need any more money, just a few supplies. Looking forward to having a look through the library. Sounds Wonderful. Anything else you'd like to impart? Any secret passwords, doves you'd like us to send you once we find some? How do you know? Secret missives, smoke signals, spy couriers.
I mean, that's not necessary. If you'd like to send word back, that will be enough. If you do find out more about this, let me know. I would like to learn about this as much as I can. In return, because I assume, part of your speech about what I'm going to give you involves a reward. I mean, if not, that's fine also. But in return, I will share 8,000 gold pieces, and also a particularly interesting bracelet I own. It is my own belonging, in which I will give you more information about when you come back.
I must.
Sorry, Saul, go.
I must ask, how, pray tell, are we going to send a message back to you?
Have you heard of a postal service before?
Yeah,
Well,
mail.
of course, but I'm sure you want that to happen quickly.
So hire a messenger. That's up to you to figure out. If I was going to do it myself, I would just do it myself.
Then add that to the funds, please.
Roll a persuasion check at disadvantage for your fucking attitude.
Actually,
Hey, we're doing her a favor, right?
Yo, lady, can I have some stamp money, please? Come on.
11 and an 8. Persuasion is
Minus 18.
50-50, it's a 10.
If more money is what you seek, convince
No,
me.
no. Sorry, he misspoke. We will happily pick it up. One small boon that would be most kind for you to do is Vigmund here is a remarkable baker, and if you could just mention his establishment once we've been successful in this piece, that would be most kind. That's all we require. No stamps, no extra money for postage. Souls is a salt of the earth. We will sort that out immediately. But Vigmund, some patronage from a person of such august presence would be remarkable. Thank you so much.
And I say, you are so kind there, Marcus. And then what I do is I pull out and present a little box to Reyella.
Yeah. Okay. She will take the box.
Sounds fun.
And she will open it. Would you mind describing what's inside it?
So inside, you'll see they kind of look like miniature muffins, but on top is these really almost jewelry-like hornets. And they call these ones, these are honey hornet melts.
Honey hornet melts, you say?
I do say, yes, indeed. They are exquisite. They take an incredible amount of finesse and time to actually produce. And they are incredibly rare.
How rare?
Rare enough that they were intended for royalty. Was not 100% sure who would be meeting today, whether we'd be going a little bit further, but my dear, your company has been marvelous and wonderful. These are indeed for you.
You flatter me. Thank you, Vigmund. And she will set the box aside. She does leave it open, though. She doesn't close it back up. And she will look at you and she will say, "Is fame what you seek with this bakery?"
It's the finest bakery in all of Agora. Indeed, it is. Indeed, it is fame that we seek, but it's for our merits, for our reputation as being fine artisans.
And is it just yourself? Is this something that was passed down through your family, or is it your own creation?
Let's say a bit of both. I'm standing on the shoulders of greatness from what my family passed on to me.
A noble act. Fair. Okay. You return. I give you 1,000 gold. I give you the bracelet, and I spread the word in the next paper about how wonderful the Seven Cats Bakery is. Will that do?
That would be delightful. Indeed, it would be. Indeed, it would be. And he's like kind of like chuffed almost to the point where he's like, "Let's go."
If you are done interrogating me or asking further questions, I can have one of my guards take you to the stables. Anything else?
No, I think we've caused enough distress for one day. So thank you so much, your
Reyella.
handmaiden ship. And we'll see ourselves out with the guard. And we'll be back as soon as humanly possible. Or meta-humanly possible.
May I clarify before you leave? Not distress. It has in fact been interesting though, and I look forward to seeing you all again. At least most of you. And she looks at Soul for a moment.
You're fine if I take this then? And I pick up the bottle of whiskey.
I have plenty where that came from.
I appreciate it.
And you should.
Out we go then. Off we go. And just try and scoop Soul out before literally set fire to the place.
Yes. Beautiful. As you head out, you are met by a guard. The same one that was standing at the end of the hallway. He is...
Nigel! What a joy. To the stables, Nigel.
He, opens his mouth to speak, and then he looks
To the
like
stables.
he realizes he's not going to get anywhere by correcting you. He's a small halfling. He is very blonde. A smattering of freckles all over his face. He looks quite nervous now that you've spoken to him like that. And he begins to lead you back towards the spiral staircase and down. And as you head down, he leads you towards a wooden door off to your left that looks tucked behind this staircase. And as he opens it, he leads you out into the garden that you are looking out through the giant floor-to-ceiling window. And as you make your way through, you feel like the environment gets incredibly, again, warm. You've been out in the ember weather, for the last few days, and it is a warm time of year. But in here, it is a lot warmer, almost humid. You can feel the air is slightly thicker. And for the first time, you see life that isn't plants in this environment. You see birds flying throughout. And as you look up, there is an aviary roof above this garden. And it is almost, the mesh is so dense at the top that you don't think you would be able to see through it top down. It does mask the beauty of this garden. And as you walk through, you, Velendar, see these fruits are popping up everywhere. And as Nigel leads you through, he's like, We've got a few different horses you can choose from. It depends on what you like. Do you have a preference?
Ones with 4 legs would be marvelous to start off with. I'm a great thing with animals. Let me go and have a look at them, and I will scoop an arm around Nigel, and lead him off and leave. My elven friends to be in the garden as I start pointing at horses and say, "This one is brown. That one."
As you're leading him off, who's going? Is anyone going with Marcus slightly ahead, or are all of you hanging back?
Oh, Velendar's
I'm going to go with Marcus.
Velendar's
just idling by his side
before he catches up.
Okay, beautiful. So we've got Velendar sticking back. We've got Vigmund going ahead. Soul and Scarlet, where are you guys going?
Scarlet will, she doesn't know huge amounts about the horses. She would know more about the type of cart that you would want and how it would go traveling and carrying things and stuff like that. So she'll probably hang back and let other people choose the horses, and she'll step up when it's time to look at the cart.
And Sol?
Yeah, I'll be with Vigmund, I think, and Marcus.
Yeah, as the three of you head forward, the last thing that you, Velendar, and Scarlet would hear from Nigel, as he's being corralled off, would be, "Oh, poor Peggy Three-Leg," and that's why we're going to take a quick break. So we will be back here in 10 or so minutes. Thank you again to the Laurite and anyone that came from the raid. Thank you for sticking around. We will be back very, very shortly to find out what happens when these heroes eventually hit the road with their horses and
Instant
Nigel.
death.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
immediate death at the hands of like bandits or something is what
But
I'm guessing.
to find out, you're going to have to come back in 10 minutes. So we'll see you then.
You'd never shave that.
I don't know.
Why would you want to, though?
Oh, why not?
Silky.
All right,
A
agreed.
bleach normally follows after, though.
Oh, hello.
Welcome back to Echoes of Divinity. When I said say something weird, I didn't think it would be that weird, but hey, here we are. Hey, welcome back. If you're just joining us after the break, we are doing the D&D stuff. Welcome to episode 2 of Echoes of Divinity, where we watch these Chaos Gremlins, hurry along Nigel, who is just trying to do his job and live his best life.
What's his actual name?
Nigel.
You don't know, do you?
We don't know.
You asked?
It goes from that belly button too. If you, right. Hey, our wonderful bard friend, would you like to recap what's happened thus far?
The party have met with the handmaiden, the queen, who we discovered is the older sister and herself isn't royalty, which is rather curious. However, we have discovered that she has some interesting book habits. She also drinks heavily, which, again, no judgment here. And has sent us on a quest to find out hallucinogenic drinks, which, as all adults, is perfectly fine. But she doesn't want it infiltrating the kingdom and has sent us, this wonderful group, across. She's made some dreadful judgments of character and doesn't seem to like Soul for some strange reason. On the upside, our delightful halfling baker is going to get his vengeance on the ever-changing face of our drow elf. And Scarlet, the glorious party leader, seems to have lost most interest into what's going on and really wants to gut someone soon. So, we've taken Nigel the halfling down some stairs, we've picked a horse, and we picked the fastest wagon possible because we have the need for speed.
Ooh, I was hoping you were going to say that.
Is that a quill?
Hupsuit.
It's always a quill.
It's a quill.
Thank you so much, Prognostically. Welcome to the stream. It is our stream affiliate anniversary, and what better people to celebrate with than Nigel the halfling? And speaking of Nigel, we're going to go to the three of you first. As you hurry Nigel along, he leads you out through this garden to a more open, grassy area. And it's weird because in Agora, it is the most city-like scape than most of the places in Damata. And you see, sorry, Tammy, I just saw your message and I started laughing. And you see that these stables are sitting on this grass. He leads you towards the stables, which are an internal set of stables. So there's no horses on the outside. As you go through, there's about 6 different individual stables, all with a horse within each. The first one you see is Peggy, and as you do take a peer into that stable, she is in fact a 3-legged horse. The next, you go along and you see this beautiful deep chocolate brown horse, and it is huge. It is super tall. It is on the thinner side as far as horses come, but it is quite tall. Would you like me to describe all of the horses for you?
Absolutely no interest whatsoever.
Beautiful.
Gonna walk along the horses, go, Soul. This one's a horse, that's got 3 legs, so no.
I must admit, a horse with 4 legs is probably going to be a better option.
Okay, so like where you're going with that. Vigmund, did you have any is there a colour? Is there a breed? Would you like a draft horse? Would you like something that's slow and steady? Something a bit racy, for example?
I think slow and steady would be, no. Actually, no. Slow and steady would not be appropriate. We have somewhere to be. So let's stick somewhere in the middle. What's a middle horse? What would you recommend as a middle horse?
You are. I can pick the best middle horse. Nigel, what's your horsemanship like?
Oh, I thought
Looking at
you
a
were
2-foot halfling.
calling me a horse. I'm not a horse.
No, that'd
But
be silly. I wouldn't be able to speak to you, Nigel. Clearly, you're a guard of this wondrous place. I'm
yes,
looking for
and
your horsemanship.
I take it quite seriously. My name is not Nigel. But if you're looking for, a relatively fast moving horse, and not, too fast and not too slow, and not too big and not too small, you probably be
Oh,
looking.
man, Nigel, you've sold me in it. Wonderful.
Oh,
Number 3.
okay. And he stops talking, and he looks like he was heading towards the right hand side of the stable, and then you said number 3, and he stopped and he looked over towards his left, and he goes, and he walks up to the 3rd stable.
No. 3 from that side, Nigel. That one over there. Go with your instincts, man.
Okay. And he walks up. He walks up to another stable on the other side, and you do see a nameplate hanging outside of the stable. It does say Harriet. And it is a shorter horse than some of the others, but it is staunchy. It is a muscly-looking horse. It is white with brown patches on it. And as he leads her out, she gives a joyful neigh. And he looks at you and he goes, I guess you would also need the cart. Is that right?
Yes, your finest cart. Now, again, Nigel, I don't need to tell you. I don't want it too flashy, but I want it solid. And, with some blockage from the sun and possible signage on the side would be great as well. Lanterns would be good.
Signage.
What you have?
What type of signage?
Look, again, can't tell you. Would love to tell you, but can't tell you now. Maybe you can have a word with Vigmund on the side in a little bit, but for the moment, show me your cards.
Well, they're not my carts, but I can do that. And he starts to exit the back end of the stables. Over to Velendar and Scarlet. What are you two doing?
Oh, Velendar's thieving just a handful of these fruits.
Yeah, cool. The ones you identified earlier, is that right?
Sure, the ones that were explained as fruiting on the way out.
Yeah,
Whatever they are. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. The most prominent that you would see are the ones you identified as you walked into the castle. Aside from that, you would see various nondescript berries that, look edible, and that's about it. But the most interesting one was the purple one described to you earlier.
Yeah. In the absence of anything that he's aware of is going to kill people. He'll go with the unknown one.
Make one more investigation for me.
Sure. 16, 18.
Okay. You do first take, these are larger fruits, the purple berries. You do take probably about 5 or 6 of them. You can add them currently as nondescript purple berries.
Sure.
Until you identify them. As you're walking through the garden at a slower pace, just looking around as your friends walk ahead of you, you do notice one more thing that doesn't necessarily look like doesn't necessarily look like a berry. It looks like more like a root of sorts. It is a yellow fluorescent yellow-green color. It does have very small thorns on it, and at the end of these thorns is a red color. You only see 1 or 2 of these, and they are submerged in the dirt as well. Looking at it, you would have to, if you weren't wanting to get pricked by it, you would have to dig them out. Not sure how deep, but you would have to dig.
Yeah, happy to do that. If there's no like gardening tools in the immediate area,
Not that you can see.
he'd use whatever's handy in the poisoner's kit, sufficient to dig it out. There'll be some kind of tongs or something in there to handle
Yeah,
things carefully.
you would find a tong-like implement, but you'd also find some gloves, some very thick gloves. And you put these on, and you easily enough, they're quite shallowly buried, so you won't need to make any form of skill checks for this. And you gather up. You don't gather the second, you just grab the one. And as it comes out of the dirt, it is about yay long. So it is longer than you expected. You may add that also to your inventory.
Excellent.
Scarlet, what are you doing?
Refraining from making jokes.
Do it.
No, she would not be doing that in this setting. She does remember some of her etiquette lessons. But, you know, is it a case of, was there anything else you wanted from the garden there?
No, I don't think so.
You
I think
sure?
these will do just fine for now.
Okay, because, you know, if I had the gloves on, I could probably just pull it up from the ground and you wouldn't even have to dig.
I'd like to see that, but I feel like we'll have an opportunity to get you pulling things at a later time.
Okay.
Are you looking for anything else, or are you going on to catch up with your friends now?
No, I don't want a suspiciously large yield for my part, unless Scarlet wants to dig something out.
No.
Yeah, okay, cool. You do manage to, you aren't too far behind that in like with the way, you know, Nigel is acting with haste. By the time you catch up with the rest of the group, they are exiting the stables, and you do see that they have a horse with them. And you make your way over, and you do exit out the back of the stables with them a couple of steps behind if you're moving to catch up. And as you do, you exit out and you see about 3 or 4 carts sitting next to this stable.
That one's fine. Wonderful choice again, Nigel. It's been an absolute pleasure. You have a skill, young man.
Marcus, stop. You need to actually look at the different types of carts. Some are good for cobble in town. I've travelled the road we're about to travel on before, so I know what's required from the cart.
Yes. And again, that's why I was saying to Nigel that someone like yourself will be far better off picking it, because, you know, Nigel's a city man, aren't you, Nigel?
Do any of the carts have a chimney?
No, weirdly enough, they don't. No chimney. One of them doesn't have a roof though, like a wooden roof. One of them does just have like a tarp as a roof.
Well, roof's better than no roof.
So roof is better, but she'll also be looking at things like the wheels, damage to the axle underneath, all that kind of stuff as well, because she knows what type of road we're about to go over, and that it's not all flat and smooth.
Yeah, cool. Make a perception, investigation check for me, please.
And what color was Harriet, the horse?
She
Brown and
is
white.
white with brown spots.
You couldn't have found a black horse.
Could everyone please hydrate? Thank you, prognosticity.
I did not roll very well at all.
Several.
So investigation, you say?
Yes.
So that works out to be a net 0.
Excellent choice, Scarlet.
Jesus.
We'll take this one.
No mods. No mods.
Shit. You're looking at these cards, and you see the two with the roofs, and you see the one without, with the tarp roof, and you're kind of trying to figure out what the difference between them all is. Aside from the roof, that is very obvious. But as you look closer, the two with the hardwood roofs don't seem as appealing. Not quite sure why, but for some reason, you feel like you need a soft roof.
Well, I mean, you've got to be open to looking at the stars at night.
Mm.
And a softer roof will allow that to happen.
Yeah, impeccable choice, Scarlet. We'll hitch Harriet up.
Are you doing that? Or
No, I'll do that. Don't worry yourself. We're just looking for a couple of supplies, and then we'll be out of your luscious locks.
Oh, thank you. I do condition, and I take quite pride in my hair. What else are you requiring?
The normal things: bedrolls, rations, ropes, lanterns, degustation meals, those sort of things.
You don't
Flour.
have those things as adventurers. You don't carry those things.
I don't know if you've noticed the velvet outfit I'm wearing, but wasn't really the idea. So if you've got some here, saves us going back in and out and buying things, I suppose. But
I have noticed. I've very much noticed. I wish you would cover your belly button.
Look, enjoy what you have.
I enjoy what I have. I don't quite enjoy what you do.
We were sent down here by Reyella orders.
Reyella.
Reyella's
Reyella
orders.
Nightlock.
So perhaps if you can accommodate us, that would be good, because that will reflect grand on your behavior as well.
I feel like I'm being quite accommodating. I'm letting you call me by a name that is not, in fact, my own. But if you would like some bedrolls, I can organize that. I can organize some torches, but I probably can't organize too much else.
Perhaps a spare wheel as well, or two, just for the cart, in case we break down.
What are you planning on doing with this cart?
Traveling.
Well, obviously, I'm not stupid.
Look, we're too fast and too furious for this conversation. We need to.
Right. Okay. I guess I can probably handle that. I do want the cart to come back with the horse. I will be away, and I will be back in but a moment. Please don't go anywhere.
Think of how well we'll talk about you when we get back here and tell Reyella that you've been more than hospitable.
I think you might mean Reyella.
Well, I mean, it's my far west accent. I'm sorry.
Is it?
Ben, you look at name generator. It's fucking amazing.
My favorite part is that every campaign we play, Ben comes up with a name that he decides is someone else's name.
Nigel, don't worry. Saul's enjoying the whiskey remarkably. We're just going to hitch up Harriet to the cart, and we'll see you back shortly.
Is that I'm tall for a halfling, and then he walks away. As he goes back off towards the castle. What are you all doing?
So, sweetie, in my line of work, sometimes I need to use, as you've obviously seen, names that aren't necessarily my own. I'm going to need you to pay a lot more attention than it seems that you actually do.
I'm not phenomenal with names. I'm sorry. I did take yours down. Farius?
Farius. Yeah, Farius is useful for when I'm mixing with upper classes and such.
Is this a common name that you use, or is this something you just made up on the spot?
No, one of.
Well, why don't you just use your normal name?
My normal name I use quite rarely. Only under special circumstances.
Are we a special circumstance?
You could say that. Not quite the right flavor of special circumstance.
I mean, keep to what you would. I only know you for a few names or a few days, but
Also a few names. There'll be more.
but Velendar, is that then your common name?
One of the
Begs
more
the question.
common.
And if we were meeting in a place of your, I guess, a situation where you felt comfortable, would you take that name?
It's the one I feel most currently comfortable with, commonly.
Birth?
Long story.
Interesting. Well, I hope that I get to travel with you for long enough to learn that.
We shall see.
Scarlet and Vigmund. Traveling. Is there any special requirements you need? We need to get. I mean, I can go and buy things from a store. Is there things you need? Vigmund, you have a business to run, and I don't know if you can just drop everything at a whim as such.
Yeah, it's a good question. I was thinking about supplies and the inventory around food and what we're going to have along the way. Now, of course, I'd like to do everything I can to help us have the most robust, but yes, entertaining meals as possible. So yes, I do have a small inventory of things that I think would be necessary for our travels. How long are we going to be gone?
Well, it's Taco Tuesday coming up sometime soon, so I'm guessing probably a week. But given Soul's knowledge of the locality, I think we. How long do you think it's going to take a Soul to get there?
Great question. Oh, where's my map gone? Well, Miranda, is it?
Who are you talking about?
Miranda? Are you?
Maluia.
I think we need to just cut back on some of the alcohol just a little bit. Soul. I know these things can be a bit overwhelming.
It's a Maluia 20 coming up.
Hallelujah, yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, Promethean, for the festivities.
Happy stream anniversary.
And thank you, Kid Kerrigan, for fucking joining us, you wonderful, wonderful little legend. Kid Kerrigan. Wow.
Sorry.
One of my favorite people in the universe. I hope I get
That
to see
whistle
your
was
pack.
black.
It matches your soul. I like it.
Okay, so we'll take the cart into town and pick up some supplies. We'll use whatever Vigmund's suggests to buying stuff. We'll buy some. We'll stop off a general store and pick up some bits and pieces. And unless anybody wants anything, we'll take the road off. We got a map. We got a cart. We got a horse.
Am I correct in thinking that a boat would be quicker?
No.
Yeah.
Take a boat.
Have you seen the map? It would be so much quicker.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to reload it. I got confused.
Yeah.
After that question previously, can we take a boat? Is that a possibility?
No, she said we're not allowed to travel by boat, Sol.
Well, she said
Right.
she can't give us a boat.
She didn't want us travelling by boat because our arrival would be tracked through the port. So if we go through the mountain pass and around, yeah, it would probably take us like a week to get there.
All right. So again, a DM question. From my uncle's background and where that stronghold is.
Which
Is
stronghold are you referring to?
So it's the one that separates Malia from Agora.
Maluhia from
Basically.
Agora. So just to clarify, if you look up through Agora, you would be traveling through the mountain pass. The actual, if you're referring to the wall itself, that is more the border of Kaivala. You would only be going through that momentarily, like it would be an hour or so. And you are to understand it, Kaivala in Damata is one of the strictest borders in Damata. They do like to trace everyone that comes in and out of that border, and you, Velendar, you would be very familiar with that. Marcus, you too. But knowing that you are very quickly transiting into Maluhia, they are less strict on that specific passage, as long as you are not lingering in Kaivala. There is a specific route that allows you to bypass through that is not direct into Kaivala.
Can I ask then, it's easier to get out of Kaivala,
yep.
Kaivala than it is to get back into Kaivala?
Kaivala, yep.
All right. And we got horses in a cart, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or a horse, singular.
A horse, yeah. I think the question might be twofold. I think getting into where we need to go is going to be possibly easier. Coming back out, though, did we get any scroll or, I don't know, information that we would be able to be pardoned by the Queen's sister to get back in?
I'm not quite sure what crime we're going to commit by just doing some investigation, but I'm fairly sure unless we leave a trail of bodies, mayhem, and I don't know, some really bad puns, we should be fine to come back.
And I promise to use a completely different name for anything we might be in proper trouble for.
Vigmund, how does this all sound? This must be something exponentially exciting for you.
It's very exciting. If you heard what Reyella said, she will actually promote the wonders and the marvelous kind of creations of the Seven Cats Bakery. So a lot is on the line for me here.
Right, well, let's go.
Place?
At this point, Nigel makes his way back, and he's carrying. He looks like he's struggling for starters. He is even short for a halfling, and he is lugging around. He's dragging them bedrolls towards you all. They are rolled up, secured with handles, but he is dragging all of them towards you. And on his back, he has, more under his arm, he is carrying some torches, and he's just kind of like dragging everything back towards you guys. And he's like, if I could get some help, please.
Velendar's already on his way to assist.
Oh, thank you. And he hands you, he is too scared to let go of the torches under his arms, and so he hands you some of the bedrolls.
Velendar will take exactly one of them and take that back to the wagon.
Yeah,
to the car.
He looks
Scarlet will step forward in her Bridgerton-looking outfit and just basically pick it all up almost one-handed and put it in the car.
Just to recap, Scarlet looks hot as fuck, for starters.
Yeah.
And did you say you're picking Nigel up?
No, the rest of the gear.
Yeah, right. Okay, beautiful. And you do quite easily. You are incredibly strong. And Nigel looks up at you and he goes, Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Is there anything else I can do for you before I leave?
There is one more thing that I think we can do for you, and we can actually be polite enough to ask you properly, what is your name?
Oh, Oh, you'd like to know little old me's name?
Well, of course, you've been great assistance to us today.
Oh, well, thank you for starters. I put a lot of pride into my job. My name is Timothy.
Thank you very much, Timothy, for your assistance.
Thank you for your assistance. I couldn't have done it without you, and also you, sir. I appreciate your help. If that is all, I will be off. You may exit. If you just follow the path around, it will take you back to the entrance to the castle. It was lovely having you here. Enjoy your travels.
Listen,
Hey,
just to
Blondie.
ask, how
Sorry,
many
yeah, go.
how many days do you think it will take to get through the pass and past the barracks?
I'm sorry, where are you going?
Malahia.
Oh, um, okay. Well, I mean, you know, Damata isn't that big. From where you are now to how far into Malahir are you going?
Well, I just want to know about getting to the gate, I think.
To the gate, it would probably be about 2 days.
Interesting. And if you had to suggest or guess, how far into the heart of Malahira would it take?
Are you asking me to suggest or guess? They are two very different things.
Well, are you familiar with? I think I need to ask a DM question from where I am.
Mm-hmm.
Am I aware of the capital of Malahira, the Eldaria?
Yeah, you are.
I
Aladria.
am a Eladria.
Yeah, it is very well known. Malukia is quite well known for its hospitality. And you would all know this. It is quite well known for being one of the more lax places in the whole of Damata. It is the fun place in Damata. And
So
Aladria
they have
is
more porn than the capital.
fantasy smart is the terminology we will go with.
Great.
It is. You're wanting to know how far to get to the capital?
All right. So if I will emphasize as a character, how long do you think? Let's change that up. How long do you think it would take to get to the capital of Malahira? That's
Uh,
furthest.
to Aladria. I haven't been there myself. I do know people that have made the trek. And I guess to get there that far, I mean, you probably say about maybe 6 days. It's not that far.
Can I insight check that? See
Yeah,
if
go
that's
for it.
Bullshit lying little halfling.
yeah.
Someone just told you it was about a week.
17 with a 4, so 21.
21? Yeah, you
Yeah.
would know that he is not lying. He's giving you his absolute best knowledge. Whether he actually knows is another story. You do sense that there is some sort of guessing going on here as well.
Right, so
Oh.
up to a week and a half.
Well, Timothy, it's been an absolute pleasure. You're completely in our good books. And by the way, so I live there, so that's where my family comes from. I know to get in the wagon. Let's go.
All right.
Are you
Let's
all
show off
getting
then.
in the wagon?
Yeehaw!
Yeah. Velendar will flick our new little friend just like a single gold piece. Just kind of give him a nod. Thanks, Blondie.
He looks taken aback and he catches it, luckily. And he looks at it, then looks at you, and he says, "Oh, well, I mean, a tip isn't necessary, but I am beyond grateful. Thank you, and I hope you survive the trip. You have fun, and remember me if you ever need anything. I will likely still be here. Hopefully. We'll see. I could get better employment. You never know. And he pockets the gold and he walks his way back inside. And are you all attempting to get into the cart?
What?
Sure.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like in order, yeah.
Is anyone
Roll initiative for card entry.
is anyone attempting to direct the horse?
Christ, no.
Oh, Marcus, of course. How dare you? I've got
I'll
the horse's
instinctively-
name. Scarlet's picked the cart. What could go wrong? And we've got a soft top.
Yeah, beautiful. So Marcus, you take the reins of Harriet the horse, and the rest of you are getting into the cart. Can I actually get an order of who gets into the cart first, please, to last?
Oh, well, as we'll be rolling in my 510, Marcus goes in first.
Are you
gonna
directing
be-
the horse or are you in the cart? What are you doing?
Well, I'm driving the carts. I'm not walking.
Oh, okay.
These shoes, no chance.
Yeah,
Okay,
but she's
well-
talking about who's getting into the actual enclosure as opposed to you who would be sitting on the seat at the front.
Okay. Well, yeah.
I'm going to be awkward
It is
and
a man.
help out Vigmund. So pick him up and put him into the car if that's what he wants.
I was going to say, you might want to ask.
Unhand me, man.
Would you like a hand up?
Sure.
No.
Well, thank you, sir. You'll get a
Is
muffin.
Is there a better way of doing this?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
I'll pick him up by his hands and
I dismiss the whole thing. I walk straight in and I dust myself off. I'm fine.
Weirdly, it's funny because Sol, the entire time a halfling has in fact been showing you the cart, has managed to pull and direct the cart out for you, as well as the horse.
I haven't met many halflings or gnomes, so
Okay, great.
I'm just trying to learn the etiquette.
Yeah, cool. And what would have been less than a step for Vigmund has now been turned into an an amusement park ride, as he is thrust into the cart.
I thrust him into the cart.
So I guess Vigmund is in there first. Who is following?
I would probably follow pursuit.
Yeah, cool. Scarlet and Velendar, who is next?
Velendar would have gone to go, but Scarlet's the only one left. He's kind of graciously bound to wait for her to jump up first and help her up.
Well, she will jump up first, but she doesn't need help.
Well, then he'll just hold his hand out awkwardly for a little bit, but it will look really cool while he's doing it.
Yeah, beautiful. And the three of you get in fine. Velendar, when you turn to enter the cart, you look inside this soft top cart and realize very quickly that it was probably not the right choice of cart. For almost anyone could have seen that this was the smallest cart you could have picked of the three. And for that reason, the only spaces you have the option of taking is the roof, sitting side by side with Marcus at the helm, or riding the horse.
Incredible. There's no chance in any variation of number of hells that Velendar's going to choiceably ride the horse. So he'll see himself next to Marcus then.
Yeah, beautiful. And you do so. It is very squeezy. The two of you are sitting. If you turned and looked at each other, it would be very close. Almost uncomfortably close, but not so much so that, it is uncomfortable. It's just verging on that.
It's like every now and
Castle
again,
of
Valenda's
Agora.
hand like touches his belly button hair and like has to
Yeah.
flinch back away.
It's one of those things where sometimes, like, as as you're now directing this car out of the castle, if you hit a speed bump or so, you both kind of like go into the middle, and you're like, oh,
I'm fine with that.
Also fine with that.
okay, great. Then you don't. You just kind of both look at each other as it happens, and you're like very fucking close to each other. And
How busy is the streets, Emily, at this stage?
at this stage, it is actually, weirdly enough, you were meeting up in the afternoon. It is now getting into evening, and you are the sun is starting to go down. It isn't all the way down. You do still have this beautiful kind of like almost sunset moment happening. Just that moment just before sunset where the sun is still full. And the sky is painted these beautiful orange hues as you're making your way out. The streets are, funnily enough, with the Emberfest being the night before, it's a lot quieter than what you would expect. You dare say that people are still probably nursing various hangovers and just exhaustion in general for what was a very busy Ember Festival the night before. There is still some activity. You do still see some stall owners that have dared to open the night after, probably hoping to get some stray business out of the fact that people are probably too lazy to cook for themselves. But you don't see any other types of stalls. You see a lot more food-based merchants than you would see anything else. What are you doing?
So after bumping towards the town piece, does anybody need any supplies? Pick up normal equipment because we're mistressed. How about we meet back in a hour's time at the Stormy Inn and then set off to get this behind us? Everybody ready to get their gear together and back in an hour?
You don't want to
capital idea.
in the morning?
No, let's get on with it.
No?
I'm very good at traveling at night.
Beautiful.
Very
I
good.
mean, do we have enough rations between one another? It's only 2 weeks.
Well, I was going to stop off at the store and pick up a few things, but if we meet back at the Stormy Inn in an hour's time, collect your adventuring gear, your items of interest. I've got to get my other towel back.
An hour is nothing. Perhaps an hour spent is good idea.
Okay.
Do you need to leave to go back to your
Can I
bakery?
talk to Soul?
Yeah, go for it.
Soul, my
No,
man.
You can't talk to me. Nah.
So I'd like hit him in the
Vigmund,
side.
yes.
Yeah, you're a craftsman, right? You can make things.
I mean, I've been perfecting medicine. I say perfecting lightly, but yeah, I can. I'm living with the place that I've been. I've managed to hobble together a couple of things here and there.
Right? Can you make a stove?
I'll look around quite easily. Yeah. What's he needed
All right,
for?
good to know. Okay, excellent. Well, I'll meet you back here in what is it? 1 hour? Is that right? 1 hour?
60 minutes, 1 hour.
Good. Look, I'm like, wait,
However
what?
However you read your time, of course. Let me tell you, and I'll lick my finger, put it up in the air. When the wind changes this direction,
You've got an hour. Get on with it.
I've got a small one of those on my wrist. I'm like, okay, and I turn it around. I'm like, I'll see you in 1 hour.
Oh, Vigmund, before you go, take a couple of these. I don't know exactly what these are. I don't know if they're edible. I don't know if they're safe. But I have more than I'm going to need, and he'll throw 2 of those fruits to Vigmund
So
Yeah.
I want to know,
to experiment.
given how tight it was on the front seat of that cart, were they being carried in your pocket? And if so, were they squashed along the way?
No, Velendar is conscious enough about the delicacies of fruit to have had them in some kind of bag on his lap.
And you would even notice as you're tossing a couple of them over to Vigmund, they are quite a firm fruit. Not as firm as, say, an apple, but they are firmer than like a blueberry, for example.
Burnberries.
Thornberry.
Fernberry.
No, not Thornberry. That's the other one. Nigel Thornberry. Thank you, chat, for that. For the sake of brevity, what are you looking for, Chris?
So I'm going to ditch this wagon because as much as Timothy was lovely, right, this isn't a wagon in the first place. So
Great.
as this lot all disappear off, stop off at a general store and then get the following: basically a proper flatbed wagon with a top, which actually stores 6 people, so 2 in the front and 6 in the back. Grabs Scarlet on the way past and says, do you, on your traveling times, were you kind of more the entertainer or protection, given you seem to be skilled in both?
I was both.
No assumptions here, just asking the question.
Yeah, no, I was both.
Okay. Do you need crossbows, javelin things to throw? Because the traveling guards I've been with have these throw things.
No, I've got all my stuff upstairs. I'm fine.
Fabulous. No, just checking. Got bedrolls. I've get some bits and pieces. And Emily, literally go to the stores, swap the wagon for something there. Happy to pay a bit more cash for it. Trying to get some rope. We're likely to need some tents and a week's worth of rations from there. And get a chest. So I want a decent sized kind of locked box, please.
Okay, cool. All of those things are relatively simple to find. You
Sure.
do have to convince the cart owner that the cart that you currently have is not stolen. But you do so, well enough. For the cart, rations, basic necessities, and the chest. Chest you find simple enough as well. It is roughly yay big.
Yep.
Yay deep. About 220 gold is
Sure.
probably
Done.
what you end up getting set back
Sure.
for everything that you've listed.
And curiously, a couple of perches for, maybe bird type objects.
Easy
on the
enough to
front of
come
it.
by.
Sure. Okay.
That'll run you another 5 gold pieces. Nothing too
And
crazy.
then turn back up at the store. And hopefully Velendar's there beforehand. Anything else you might want to have? I've got a large locked chest just in case there are things you may want to store. But I got one of the wagons where things can be put underneath the axle, for example.
Oh, that's very clever.
Traveling merchants like yourself, dear boy.
Merchants. We know the first thing about merchantry. No, I tend to travel light. Velendar will, over the course of that hour, though, slip away just to see if there's any kind of contract work available in the region they're traveling to of any kind.
In Maluhia specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I get you to make a investigation check, please?
I'm sure you can.
Advantage, actually.
Whoa.
I know, generous.
Good. Yeah, great. Love that. 16.
16? Yeah, okay. You do find an advertisement on just like a random notice board in the Marquetta You would see a couple of different things, but for Maluhia specifically, you would see an expedition request for people to investigate strange sightings of sea creatures off the coast of Eladria. You would also see just general fishing work. Nothing else specifically for Maluhia currently.
Ugh, how pedestrian.
Is anyone else doing anything?
Yes, so aside from getting out of this atrocious outfit that she's endured wearing for however long and getting back into her normal clothes, she will be writing 2 letters, both sealed with the family seal. One to her family at home and one to the dead drop for Antares. And basically each of the letters will just be saying straight out, if you see or hear of thornberries, stay away from them until further notice.
Okay. Cool. If there's anything else that you would like to put in those that you don't want to disclose with anyone else, just send me what you want to put in. But all of that is easy enough to. Are you posting these specifically through? Yeah, you would cost you like 1 gold piece to get them out. Yeah. Anyone else doing anything?
Well, we're getting supplies, right? Yeah, so Vigmund is like legging it back to the 7 Cats as fast as he can. He is ready for this. He is used to like going to places, in short notice. So he has got a bag pre-packed. It's basically the size of him.
Yeah, great. Cool. Yeah, easy enough. You grab the bag, you make your way back. Sol, are you doing anything in this hour?
I'd probably be looking for a herbalist shop or a potion store, alchemist store, pertaining to medicinal, like healing or resistance or purification of certain situations.
Okay. You do find a herbalist shop, but in terms of potions, not so much. You do find ointments, but knowing that magic is not necessarily allowed in these parts, what you more find is a healing ointment that is said to help. That is said to help like minor abrasions and cuts, that sort of thing. You do find something similar to a standard painkiller as well that is actually like put. It's more like eardrops. You haven't seen anything like it before. But aside from that, those are the more medicinal based things that you would find. To purchase those, you would be looking at about 10 gold for both.
I can afford that. Yeah, I'll take both of those.
Yeah, cool. If you apply the ointment, you have about 10 uses of it. Anyone that takes the ointment on a cut or abrasion, you're looking at 2 points of healing. The standard painkiller, you're not quite sure because you haven't used it before. So I guess you'll have to find out. But it does seem to have around 5 uses of it in terms of dosages.
Out of interest, I have a healings kit. So is that additional to my healings kit? Or...
Correct.
So an extra 2 points of heal.
Correct.
If I have the balm over the top of the.
Correct.
When we get a boo boo.
When you get a little
When we
boopy.
get a little boo boo. There will be one request Velendar's going to make to add to Marcus's shopping list. Marcus, dear, can you acquire 3 rats or mice? Some kind of small creature no one's really going to miss.
Shouldn't be a problem. There we go.
Beautiful.
People look at you strange when you start asking around for animals that no one will miss.
Yeah. Yes, your favourite family cat. We'd love that immediately. Oh, that dog looks stray, doesn't it?
7 cats for advertising purposes.
You do find someone.
I'll
who
just pay
is-
some merchants to get me some local rats and stick them in a cage.
Yep, and you do find so they are a little bit confused, but they do allow it to happen, and they only charge you 2 gold pieces. The merchant, in fact, says
Yes.
only.
Are they stage rats? I mean, what's going on? It's like, here's your 2 copper pieces, small children, for the rough rats you put in the sack.
No, because they had to catch these rats themselves. And they do refer to them as wild rats. They don't refer to them as domesticated.
Right. Marcus looks at them and
You're
says,
actually not
off you
even
go,
sure.
small children. No,
You're
children.
not
Here's your
even
2 copper
sure
pieces.
that these people are, in fact, merchants. These are just people you may have approached that looks like they might know where rats are.
Yes. Yes. It's lovely. It's a joy doing business with you, and we'll burn your house down later on.
Congratulations, you've made 0 enemies tonight. As you all reconvene at the cart, it is now sun very much going down. Are you planning on making your way out of the city tonight?
Yep.
Cool. As you make your way out, traveling from where you are to the edge of the city, does feel like it takes a while, but mostly because the air around you is incredibly quiet. As soon as the sun's gone down, people have started to retire to their homes. You can see that all of the little cottages have their lights on from firelight inside. And people seem to be making an early bedtime for themselves following the festivities the night before. You do, on your way out, see Casey and his brother packing down the chili shop. And you do see that Casey is sporting a large bandage over his nose specifically. As soon as your cart... As soon as your cart comes into view and he catches sight of you, he does very quickly look away and avoid eye contact in any way, shape, or form. And as you continue and finally get towards the large walls of Agora's edge, you head out easy enough. The guards give you a small wave, and it is all open field as you leave. In terms of travel, the way we're going to handle this is I'm going to ask who is leading the travel specifically.
Okay. So again,
Marcus.
on the party, Marcus knows his way there, and while he's driving the car, curiously seems to be chatting away to himself, almost kind of like someone talking to voices around him, but kind of in a more kind of chatty one, in a language that not many people understand. It seems to have a Sylvian feel to it, but seems to be missing potholes in the dark. As I have some friends helping me, DM.
Yeah, I will ask a question of you.
Sure.
When is the last time you fed your friends?
I'm always feeding them. That's why we went off to spend 2 gold on pieces
I
from
thought
there.
that might be the case. And for that reason, your friends are very compliant and are quite happy and living their best lives. And they do, in fact, help you. The rest of you are inside the cart, yes?
Can we hear what Marcus is saying though? Is he whispering or is he?
No, it's kind of like it's like bad trouble singing. For that in Elvish. So anyone that can speak Elvish can make out most of it. Anyone speak Elvish?
Hey,
Anyone?
that's me.
Yeah, me too.
It's
Yeah.
me.
Guess what?
Hi, I'm the elf. It's me.
I'm gonna roll the cart and keep the secret. So,
So to solve the bits is really okay. Left or right? Right, left, left, right, right, left, left. Yep, yep.
Look, I feel like I would need to roll a perception check on that because I wouldn't be paying attention.
You can all still roll perception. If you're not paying attention, you can roll it at disadvantage. And I trust you as an adult to decide whether that's the case.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I don't know what he's saying. I don't think I've got a 7.
Yeah,
total.
you don't hear anything. In fact, you hear your own internalized thoughts, and that's about it.
That's horrible.
You're monologuing.
Am I feared?
Only you can decide that. I can't make that choice for you.
No, I didn't hear.
Anyone who rolled a 10 or higher can hear Marcus. But you only understand if you speak Sylvan.
isn't it Elvish?
Elvish.
Hmm.
Oh, thank you very much.
I didn't roll higher than a 10.
Okay,
Oh,
cool. So it sounds like it might just be you, Velendar, unless Scarlet, you rolled higher. So if Marcus is leading, is there anyone keeping a lookout as a second set of eyes?
Is there windows in the cart?
There are 2. Yes, one on the door. That is almost like a carriage more than it is a cart.
maybe more like a panel van. Just to this is an Australian adventure.
All Aussie
Yeah,
adventures, time to hit the road. But there is a window on the door and a window on the opposite side as well. Also a small window looking directly out to where Marcus is sitting, but very small.
Can I
One
be
of you
sitting
is
off the
sitting
back?
in front of it. I mean, if you want to, yeah, go for it.
I'm sitting off the back and I'm just peeling some native vegetables and contemplating what to do with that marvelous fruit that I got gifted. Thinking about my concoctions, but occasionally I'm just looking out at the wilderness, just minding my own thoughts and just looking around.
Okay, a couple of things are going to happen. Marcus, could you please make a survival check for me? And Vigmund, could you please make a perception check? But then I'd also like you to make a survival check separately, if that's okay.
All right.
Marcus, what was your survival?
Well, as John Denver once famously said, country roads, take me home, TPK 7.
Oh,
You have some friends with you, and they're very entertaining. And whilst entertaining, they're not the most helpful, for they do every now and again suggest that you come off the standard path and fantasy 4-wheel drive. But they do lead you eventually back on, but they do make gleeful noises as there is again some bumpy riding going on. Vigmund, do you specifically feel this? Being in the back, you're peeling your fruit and vegetables, and you are every now and again, as the small being that you are, do rise off your chair when you hit a particularly large bump. But you feel like you're all going in the correct direction. Vigmund, what was your perception first, please?
It was 1 + 1.
Like a nat 1?
Yeah.
Okay, great. You are looking back, and then you look over at your shoulder, back at the cart, and for a moment you see the cart, and you just admire it. Its craftsmanship it's beautiful. The wood, the way that it traverses and you nearly fucking fly off when you hit this bump. And you grab on, and you're so distracted by this that you realize that this fruit that you've dropped, not the one that Velendar gave you, but a separate vegetable that you were peeling, is now lost into the evening, and you can't see it off the back. Additionally, you feel this warm feeling on your hand, and you look down. You don't often experience this. You are a craftsman. You know how to use your tools. However, as you look at your hand, you see, even in the dim light that remains, blood on your hand, and you take 1 point of damage as you cut yourself, attempting to look out into the night sky.
What? I cut myself?
Yeah.
That's right. We've
I'm
got some ointment for
disgusted
that.
at myself for doing this. I'm like,
And you know
damn,
what?
stupid me.
Additionally, your investigation check that you made actually no longer matters, and we will not be doing that anymore. Because you lost everything that you were going to investigate. Not necessarily, but maybe. How long are you guys planning on traveling for, keeping in mind that you have been awake now for a decent amount of time?
At some point in time, Marcus will lean back and look for Velendar, and it's our little friends are fairly good at navigating, but I think there's a campsite probably about half an hour up. Do you want us to travel through the night? Because I know elves are very good at meditating and, traveling through, or do you want to park up and what? Rest?
Another thing as well is if we're spending a lot of time between carriage rides, could I roll a investigation or perception check to find out herbs and things that might be along the way that I might want to gather?
You may, but you may do so at disadvantage because it is nighttime.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, done.
Nighttime.
Nighttime.
Marcus, I'm more than happy to travel through the evening. I don't want to be the one doing the traveling, but if you can stay awake, by all means.
Yeah, well, it's getting to that time, and the our little friends are getting a little bit, shenanigans-esque.
Incredible.
So I was just going to camp up, sleep up, nice early morning start, fresh air, that sort of thing.
If you insist.
Well, it's not really I insist. This body here needs to recuperate and regenerate.
Velendar, at this moment, you focus primarily on the belly button.
When would you not? I think also, so on this journey to up until that point, I think Velendar will have taken one of these rats that has been acquired, and is going to feed it. He's going to feed a bit of this fruit to two of the rats of the three, and just kind of watch and see what happens to them, I guess.
The berry, was it?
Oh yeah, the berry, the fruit, the firm one that I nicked.
Not the root that you stole. The berry.
No, not the root.
Thank
the
you
berry.
for being so visceral with that response.
Oh, you mean the word root?
Yeah. If you'd like to spell it out phonetically, that would be fine also.
I genuinely wish I could roll my R's for it, but sadly, I've just never been able to do it. It's not a thing.
Yeah, beautiful. Cool. So you feed the rats this fruit. How long will you monitor them for?
And up until the point that Marcus asks the question, I guess, about camping for the night.
We'll go for a couple of hours then. The idea was to get us out of town and then find
beautiful.
waypoint wherever possible.
Good to know. We'll come back to that in a second. Sol, what was your check, please? Sol? Ben,
Yeah, sorry.
what was your check?
Oh, Jake.
Oh,
All right.
like, it was a 1 and a 2, actually.
Fucking hell, you are dead. No, you don't see shit. Vigmund, Scarlet, do you are you doing anything?
Yeah, I'm looking at my fucking hand. Sorry. I'm like, how did I stab
No,
myself?
say it. Do it
I'm
again.
trying to work this out.
You're peeling. That's how you stab yourself.
Yeah, but I don't do that. So anyway, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go to Sol. And I'm like, Sol, I've cut myself. I'm wondering if you can help me out here.
What do you need?
I don't know, something. Stop the bleeding.
Well, I can give you a pretty easy bandage or ointment.
Oh, it's your thing, right? Craft away. Make my hand glorious again.
How glorious were you talking about? Like, you want a magical hand or just something?
Well, let me give you a reference, and I show him my other hand.
Alright, a dumb question. And I'm going to continue to... I'm going to pull out some bandages, put some ointment on top of it, and then wrap it around. And heal him, I guess.
Make a medicine check at advantage.
Yeah, alright.
1 and a 2.
It's better than what it was. Medicine will be a 17.
Yeah, cool. You place this bandage in such a way that not only is it on the actual cut, but also it offers a soothing, cooling effect to you, Vigmund, and you do gain that hit point back. And you feel better about it.
If I can interrupt as well, I have healer feat. He gets 1d6 plus 4 healing.
Fucking oath. Okay, yeah, that happens.
Wow, my man, you've done more than just heal my hand. I just feel amazing right now. I have a feeling you're going to come in handy when we get to whatever we're going to get to and do the things we're going to do.
You're making
I
you
feel
pump
good.
because of your hand?
Yeah, can I give you a high five?
Low five.
Doesn't hurt. Scarlet, are you doing anything?
What are you saying?
So during the actual trip, Scarlet's probably at one point she'll probably sit on the back and sort of look out to see what Vigmund's looking at, and then she'll actually eventually just go and have a kip.
Yeah, beautiful. You do so quite easily. This cart is much better than the one, unfortunately, not that you'd like to admit it, better than the one that you picked out.
Interpersonal contact.
Yeah, correct. It's not as intimate. And that is disappointing, but it is comfier. And you do so with ease. It is as you're pulling up to a gathering of trees ready to settle down for the night, that Velendar, you notice that one of the rats is not doing great. Is very sad, and not just sad, but is now unmoving. The other looks a little lethargic, but it doesn't look inactive, if that makes sense.
Okay. And how long since they had a little nibble?
I want to say about 2.5 hours.
Practically useless. No, okay. Velendar will just keep an eye then on the currently surviving rat.
It's weird though, because when you, like, if you hold the rats, even the one that is no longer moving, it still feels warm. It doesn't feel cold or dead at this point. as you pull up to this clearing of not clearing, sorry, gathering of trees, it is offering good amount of cover. It is cooler than what it was in Agora. And you do, as you look off into the distance, the far distance at that, see just the slight peakings of the Kaivalan Mountains. But you are very aware that there is still some way to go. Are you all planning on making camp and resting? Is there anything you'd like to do before you do buckle down for the night? Is anyone keeping watch?
How late is it?
By now, you're probably looking at around 9 o'clock, 9 p.m.
Scarlet can do watch since she had a little nap in the cart.
You can take
on
a
the
short
way.
rest as well.
Velendar will join Scarlet for the period while he keeps watch on these rats more than anything else.
Yeah, cool. Is everyone else going to sleep?
Yeah, Vigmund's going to go to sleep because he's going to get up early, just like a baker would. So 4 a.m.'s that type of thing.
So do you do the watch thing, where Tuesday up, then Tuesday up, or does everybody just go to sleep and we all get murdered in our sleep? Is that how it works in this
I
particular?
must admit, if everyone was going to be comfortable, then perhaps I should stay up.
Well, we've got two already up there because Belinda's sitting next to Scarlet, so I'm assuming they're going to be up for a bit. Should we do the next watch? Because Vigmund said he's going to be up nice and early.
I'd be happy to do that, yeah.
Marvelous. Right.
It's amazing, Sol, how quickly Marcus went from speaking to you to suddenly being literally dead asleep. Like, just out of nowhere. This guy was sitting there, conscious, now, like, passed out, dead asleep. Alive, but dead asleep. And you find sleep quite easily yourself, Sol, as do you, Vigmund. The two of you that are staying up, can I get you both to make a perception check? If you have dark vision, you can do it at advantage.
15. Thanks for the advantage.
You're welcome.
You only got, you did better than me. Mine was 10.
Okay. And is there anything that you wish to do during this time, aside from monitoring the rats?
No, Velendar's quite invested in rat monitoring at this time.
This to Scarlet is that Velendar is very much paying attention to these rats.
Are they dead yet?
One's no longer moving, but it's warm to the touch. It's quite
In
strange.
fact, both are no longer moving and warm.
Oh, this one stopped moving now as well. Oh, this could be workable, but the warmth, I don't quite understand.
Don't you?
Mm-mm.
There's different foods, like there's particular fish if you cut them the wrong way and all that. It's like delicacies, but you have to prepare them certain ways to avoid it, but they can basically paralyze you. Some of them, they just wear off after a period of time, but some of them eventually you can't breathe and you die that way.
You're gorgeous. Please don't assume I don't understand the nature of paralytic agents.
I don't know what you know. You say a couple of different things that contradict each other.
That will happen from time to time. I'm sorry.
Everyone has.
Look. This could go either way. If these little furry bastards raise themselves by morning, then you might be onto something. We might have a fun new paralytic to play with. If not, it's a bit of a mystery.
And how long did it take to kick in?
A couple of hours for this first one. The second one, not too long after.
So you could literally dose someone and then create yourself an alibi.
Potentially, but the question is going to be the ratio of berry to belly for the target.
One of the other questions you should be asking is why was so much of it so readily growing with easy access in the palace area?
Wow. Royal politics, power plays. It's not uncommon for people in positions of power to be cruel to those around them and under them, in my experience.
It's not, but having them openly is the question. Normally people would hide things like that.
How applicable are laws and rules and standards to people in the higher echelons of power, really? They
It
flaunt
really
them.
depends. I mean, you have people who are born into it, you have people who are married into it, and then you have people who hold power via commercial basis rather than birth.
And in most cases, that power corrupts the people who hold it. And they abuse it. If they don't abuse the opportunity to seize it in the first place, it will eventually get them to a point, if they're not already, in which they put that power to ill use at the expense of others.
It depends. I mean, you've always got your folk hero scenarios. Those people are using a different type of power for a different means.
Those people also die very young.
Not always.
Name me one old folk hero.
Oh, this is where I have to defer to the DM on which one Scarlet would be told about.
Make a history check for me.
Stop picking skills I'm not good in.
No, never.
It's a deliberate choice to fuck you up.
So that's the second nat one of the night.
Jeez.
You
Oh no.
in your upbringing, you know a lot about your family or your immediate family. You know a lot about how you should behave or how you were taught to behave. And you know about power and how it can influence people. You remember stories that you've been told throughout time. And you remember some of them being more impactful than others. You remember some that gave you nightmares. And not necessarily because they were scary, but because the idea of it frightened you. Just based on the power play at hand. But in this moment, you're thinking about being on the road and knowing the importance of a decision that you need to make with your family. And you're looking at someone that you know actively admired you when you changed your outfit earlier. And in that moment, everything kind of feels a little bit surreal and you kind of lose your train of thought. And you can't name a name, but you know that you have heard of people before.
Well, folk heroes don't often use their real names.
So you can't think of a single one that's lived to a ripe old age and retirement?
Not off the top of my head.
Well,
To be fair, most of them would have been demonized in the stories I learnt rather than admired as folk heroes anyway.
what do you mean? Why's that?
Well, when history is written by the winners. Stories that are told by those in power of people who are standing up against them, they villainize the people that are standing up against them.
This is true. Or certainly can be. The villains can write their own stories.
But you don't hear them from the people that have the power.
No, but you hear more. In my experience, merely the name of someone associated with some kind of real or imagined dastardly act is enough to inspire people to run, to fear, to hide, cower, bow before you in supplication, or run out into the world, away from a cruel, vindictive, spiteful, evil family. Trust me, the villains have their own stories.
You're not talking about my family, though.
No.
No, okay.
Or I hope not. Am I? Am I talking about your family?
I don't think so. I mean, mine are pretty, like, stuffy and uptight, but not evil.
Not talking about your family, then.
Okay, just making sure.
What kind of uptight are we talking?
Oh, you didn't pick it back up when Reyella was talking about it?
Not entirely. We've still got a little time before the others awake. While away the hours, see if these rats wake up or not with a story or two.
Well, if my family had it their way, I would be constantly in those dresses forever and married off to some asshole who just expects me to never open my mouth.
Doesn't seem like something that you'd be particularly interested in.
No, which is why when I was meant to be betrothed, I punched him in the face.
That seems to be a habit of yours.
Yeah, it does.
You're very good at it.
I am, but apparently ladies don't behave like that, which is why he got punched in the face.
I've seen ladies do worse.
I think it's just a very big misconception that you can't be a lady at the same time as having fighting skills.
Please. Separating ladyship from any other kind of skills is ridiculous.
And yet so many do. I mean, like, when I started going out and experiencing the world, you know, you find someone, meet them, strike up a conversation, and half the time you were a curiosity to them because they'd seen you fight. You know, you were either just a curiosity or that wasn't how women behaved.
Seems like a very shallow interpretation of all that you are or could be. I think you're far more than a curiosity.
Which is why I'm still traveling.
I'm glad. I hope you find what you're looking for. Or I hope you don't and you continue looking for as long as you need to.
There is something missing. It's not this whole go out and find yourself thing. Like, there's literally a thing I'm meant to find and I don't know what it is. I'll know what it is when I find it. And I know that I'm looking for it, but I don't know what it is.
And you still haven't found what you're looking for?
What, you two?
Occasionally I feel like I'm on the edge of it.
When Chris is rubbing his head down like that, I think we've gone far enough.
As you look out at the night sky, and it is clearer than what it would be in Agora. Velendar, it's at that moment that you catch the outline of something, and it's moving in the distance.
Damn, I thought it was one of the rats coming back to life.
You can't
Okay.
really figure out what it is. And as quickly as it appears, it disappears. And at that moment, you notice that your shift is up, and both of you are able to retire now and switch out with the other two people on watch. And Sol and Marcus, you two are awoken by your companions. Marcus doing so with his mouth wide open. It's incredibly attractive. Once again, not wearing a shirt. And Sol, you both feel quite rested. You can both take a long rest. And you make your way out to take purchase on the cart. I'll get you both to make a perception check. You may do so at advantage if you have dark vision.
In Elvish, I will ask my 5 little friends to assist in that, please.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great. You can take advantage.
I take advantage! I want 5 advantages!
15 for me.
15 for you?
Yeah.
Rolling at advantage. Oh. Natural 1, but natural 19. That's a 22.
Beautiful. Is there anything the two of you wish to discuss? Or are you both just sitting there in silence?
I'll let you take the reins.
It's what they're not saying.
Yeah.
That's the real adventure.
It's almost like there was some sort of electrical storm that happened beforehand, and then
Electric blue on my knees, I will tear.
Yep, beautiful. Glad. You all die instantly.
worth it.
Great. Again, your time passes pretty okay. Sol, it's been a while since you've been out in the open like this, and being somewhere this quiet and peaceful is calming for you. And the pressure of trying to understand more about your origins and medicinal purposes and, searching for things that you need is taken off your shoulders for a moment as you look out and just admire the peace of this moment. Marcus, you see a figure. It is a short-statured figure. They are on their own. You can't quite make out what ancestry they're from, but you do notice that they have a big cloak or clothing object draping across their body as they move closer in your direction. But instead of exploring that, I'm going to ask that Scarlet, Sol, Marcus, and Vigmund either remove or mute their headphones or leave the table. It's
I
up
need
to
some
you.
ice.
You
Back in a sec.
You can deafen them in Discord, I believe.
I don't want. I want them to actively make that choice because they are adults.
Whoa! Such
Wow.
trust, you fool.
Okay, I'm going to deafen everything so that I can't hear.
Okay, I will do this when it's all good.
I
Okay.
genuinely hope that everyone who has muted or deafened or whatever themselves continues to talk.
I need the signal for coming back.
The signal is this.
All right.
You may now officially mute yourselves.
Whoa.
Muted.
It's beautiful to have you here, Promethean, and to ruin your life.
Hi, Emily. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so
you
excited to ruin
Have you been
your
having a good night? I've really been enjoying session 2 of Echoes of Divinity. Thank you once again. And
If
as
you could,
always,
say
being
that
an
at
awesome
the
DM.
end, after this, then that
No.
would be great.
Nah.
It's very rare that you get a restless night, a restful night, in fact. Mostly because your origins don't exactly allow for that.
Yeah.
You have a lot of trauma that is buried in your past. But it's funny because when you sleep, while it might not be restful, it is like your eyes close and you go to darkness and you don't usually see anything until you wake again, because there's not really much worse that you could see in your nightmares or dreams than you haven't seen in your day-to-day life. But tonight's a little bit different. And as you close your eyes for the night, it's very similar to what you would usually experience. But for the first time, you feel the time passing. As someone that meditates instead of sleeping the entire 8 hours, unless you choose to do so, of course, you feel those moments ticking by. You feel that entire 4 hours dreadfully just ticking as it goes on. And it's almost like not a highlight reel, but quite the opposite. And you see the faces of your parents, and you see the way that they look down at you condescendingly and unapprovingly. You see your reflection in the mirror as just a young elf or drow, and the way you look down at yourself and then back at your reflection. And you see the good moments. You see one of your friends. You see Nasilia, and you see the moments that you spent with her, and that is the highlight of this moment until you watch as her face grows paler than you've ever seen it before. And you watch as this incredibly large, spidery looking limb, instead of just looking menacing, it sits there in front of her face for a moment. And then it completely pierces straight through her skull. But it's weird because she doesn't stop moving. And instead you see just a single tear fall down her face. And you remember that she's gone. And you don't know why or how. And then it goes dark again. And then you see this book that you're so desperately trying to find. Though you haven't seen it, you see it. And you see its spine, the mahogany bound. And you see it open and you don't see the words, but you see that silver inlay that you imagine. And you see that the inside is not filled with typewritten text. It's filled with handwritten text. And you don't see the words, but you see it sitting there, and it's so close, and you reach out for it, and it just slips out of your grasp. And then everything just goes red, soaked with blood. And it's then when your nightmares snap back into darkness completely, and that time just keeps ticking on. Do you have any questions before I bring anyone back?
The spider limb, is that how I remember her dying? She died in a much more mundane way, didn't she?
She did.
In like history terms.
Yes.
Okay.
It is not how you recall her dying.
Great. That was just like straight. It was the emerald cloaks, I think, got
Correct.
her, right? Yeah. Okay. I think that's the only question. This text,
Mm-hmm.
I'll bug you about it after. So
Nah, you can bug me now. Let's
we're
do
not
it.
yucking everyone's yum. Is it something that? Well, so I assume I'm not going to recognize the text in this vision of the book then. Initially,
No, you don't recognize it. No.
in general, and I guess if this is a deviation from like a standard night's kind of meditation, that's going to be a haunting factor. That when we come across kind of text in stuff, if it's recognizable, that's something I'll be passively, I guess, trying to keep track of. But other than that, no.
Okay. Fabulous.
Wonderful nightmares. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Hey, I got you. I'm going to stick my thumbs up now, recognizing that 2 of our players have, in fact, one's leaving, one's arriving. This is great. This
Incredible. Yeah, we love that.
We will, I don't know if Ben saw the...
God.
Yeah, I know. They're just going to have to... Ben, can you hear? You're muted, but I heard you say yeah from the other room. We will just wait for the other 2.
I'm just rolling up a new character now.
Yeah.
Okay, great. We're just waiting on Chris.
I would highly recommend doing that very thing.
He's fallen.
Dun, dun, dun. I am sorry to say everyone except for Ben will need to roll a new character immediately.
Yes.
It's okay. I'm going to play a ranger called Hook.
Where's my unmute button gone?
Great shout. Has anybody been upset that I use one-syllable names in my characters?
Oh, Ben is traumatized. No, Ben. Stop.
No. What? No. Why?
Are you having a complex?
Has someone
made a point about like, oh, it's interesting. You only ever use one-syllable character names.
You've heard how much trouble he has with names? Give him too many fucking syllables. How is he going to remember that?
He's a one-syllable name generator. It's a generator.
Hey, Corsair's Cove.
Corsair's Cove, it's so lovely to have you. Welcome to Echoes of Divinity. This is episode 2. We are currently meeting these wonderful human beings and elves and drows and halflings and, various different ancestries. I hope you had a wonderful stream. If you're new to the stream, we are Fate's Grip. We stream every Tuesday at 6:45 p.m. in a homebrew campaign, and once a month in this one, which is also a homebrew campaign in the world of Damada. You will also catch us doing, variety gaming, mostly with Promethean. On Scream Team Sundays. It's a good time. Thank you so much. It is our affiliate anniversary today, and in doing so, we get to welcome some wonderful new cast members, and I'm very, very happy about that. And returning in the case of Edo. So welcome. I hope you had a wonderful stream. Tell us what you're doing. We have just had a dream sequence with Velendar.
I got some special one-on-one DM time. It was great.
Don't get used to it. I am a first-time DM, so please be kind, because I know that Corsair's Cove is not first-time DMs. But as that passes, and to you, Marcus, as you're looking out at this figure, and they approach closer, you see that it is in fact a small... Again, you can't tell the ancestry, but they are wearing what looks to be a wraparound blanket around their entire body, and they're holding it there, standing quite small.
and you can hear them muttering under their breath. They're like, they can't see me, they can't see me, they can't see me, they can't see me.
I can't see you. That's correct. You're completely invisible to me and my friends.
And you hear
Perhaps you want to come towards the campfire.
You hear this creature absolutely scream, and all of you that were asleep now in fact awaken. And that's
I'm awake.
actually where
Why am I
we're gonna-
awake?
That's actually where we're going to leave it this week. I'm so sorry, Corsair Scope. Or wait, month. Who knows? Maybe we'll be fortnightly soon. In doing so, please stick around because we're going to raid someone that I don't know if they've ever been raided before, so we're going to raid them shortly. But before we before we raid, I'd love for us all to re-meet the wonderful players that we have on board, starting with yourself, Promethean. Who are you? Where can we find you? What do you do?
Oh God, I am Promethean. I talk way too much, but you'll find me here. You'll find me where I exist on the internet in all of the places except for TikTok, where I've been recently banned and or suspended. I'm in discussions with the support people. We'll see how it goes. And you'll also find me over on the OzQuest channel here on Twitch as
Beautiful.
well.
Ito, if you'd like to reintroduce who you are, that would be fabulous.
Yes, I'm Chris Ito. I am surrounded by this wonderful 5E talent sandwich right now, and I'm an old school Fate script member, I suppose you could say. I'm coming back and hanging out with some pals. So
OG
yeah.
cast. Other Chris, D20, the man, myth, the legend. Who are you? What do you do?
I'm going to throw a shout out to first off, congratulations for your anniversary to Face Group. Well done.
Yeah.
I mean, the original 3, give yourself a round of applause.
The original 3, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. And us hangers on. And I'm going to hand you over. Love to see Josh in chat as well. So, Josh Burrett,
Hello,
wonderful
Josh.
human being. Back to you, Tam.
Ben. Oh, we'll go Ben, and then we're going to leave on the lovely Scarlet after that. Ben?
Well, yes, my name is Ben. Emily's just called me out with my name. Yeah, my name is Ben. I am a part of Fate Script. And I'm here enjoying a game with some friends met along the way, and it's been a phenomenal time.
And last but certainly not least, one of the loves of my life, Tammy. Who are you? What do you do?
I'm Tammy. I am mainly lurking in people's chats, including tomorrow night. I will be lurking in the Meatballs and Dragons chat for an event that someone else didn't mention when they were coming.
Yeah. What would that be? Sorry,
So people can also see Promethean tomorrow night in Radiant Shadows.
We love that more than anything. And then there's, unfortunately for you all, there's me. My name is Emily. I am the DM of Echoes of Divinity, but I am also the player of Lunar Tarot on a Tuesday night at 6:45 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. It has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for everyone tonight. We're going to go over and raid a good friend of ours who has just started their streaming journey. Their name is Kovu Fox. They're playing some Dead by Daylight. I know that's not typically what we'd raid out to, but for someone who is starting their streaming journey, please show some love and support. And until next time, have a wonderful evening. I'm going to start the raid now. And we will, do the things and the stuffs. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you so much.